I never aspired to be a star, but I accidentally became the most popular food celebrity on the streets of Shanghai. Recently, the queue at my stall was almost long, which made my competitors jealous. Just when they were planning to suppress Su Yang through price war. It was a simple parent-child activity in kindergarten, but the school required me to attend it with my divorced ex-wife. As my ex-wife appears around me more and more often, many fans think that I am not only a successful gourmet, but also a man with a secret past and emotional entanglements. Zhou Diyu held the bowl, thinking that at his age, he could still taste such an exquisite liver paste soup, which was absolutely a lifelong regret. He sighed and drank a few more sips with satisfaction. Inadvertently, he noticed the sound of the chefs at Mingji Hotel swallowing their saliva, their eyes full of desire. He put down the spoon, smiled slightly, and motioned them to come forward and taste it. After getting Zhou Diyu's permission, the chefs gathered around excitedly, as if they had received an imperial decree, and couldn't wait to pick up spoons to taste the tempting liver paste soup. The moment they took a sip of the soup, they all closed their eyes, as if their taste buds were completely awakened. The deliciousness of the soup and the delicateness of the liver paste made them intoxicated and unable to extricate themselves. "Oh my God, this liver paste soup is the best in the world," a chef exclaimed. "The knife skills and control of the heat are totally beyond my imagination. I've studied cooking for 40 years, and this is the best. This is simply the most delicious dish of its kind," another person exclaimed, his eyes full of awe. "Just this liver paste soup alone convinces me. If Master Su makes a state banquet-level dish, wouldn't it be something only gods would be qualified to eat?" Han Dongye just watched coldly at first, but after hearing everyone's admiration, he couldn't help but take a sip, and his heart was instantly filled with shock. This taste was even better than his master's. As he sipped it, his hostility was gradually replaced by helplessness, and he was completely convinced. When Xiao Feifei and Feng Xiaoya came back, the pot had been divided up completely. Feng Xiaoya stomped her feet in regret. If she had known, she would not have delayed any longer. Xiao Feifei was even more distressed. 3 servings of liver paste soup cost her 300,000 yuan. And not only did she not get to taste a single bite, but all of it was eaten up by the kitchen staff. Forget about Mr. Zhou's share. These chefs are going too far. Deduct their wages. Deduct all of them. Xiao Feifei was indignant and made a note of the bill. At this time, I've leisurely ridden my tricycle back to the courtyard. After tasting the soup I made, I have to admire it. It tastes really good. I got home at 4:30 and was thinking whether I should set up a stall today. I had already made 300,000 yuan, so it was okay to take a day off. But in the Penguin Food Group on my mobile phone, my fans were going crazy. They were so hungry that they posted funny hunger pictures to protest why I hadn't set up the stall yet. Looking at their wailing, I smiled and shook my head, thinking that there was still some time, so I just set it up for a while. So I took the ingredients and rushed to the pedestrian street square. By then, the square was already full of people, all of them little foreigners. I heard that some people had been waiting since 2 p.m. and refused to leave in the hot sun. "It's Boss Su. He's here," someone in the crowd shouted excitedly, and instantly everyone gathered around him. The scene was as lively as a celebrity meeting. After setting up the stall, I looked at the long queue and couldn't help but find it a little funny. I was a little flattered by such enthusiasm. This stall on Nanjing Road was originally a quiet area on the pedestrian street, but now it has become the busiest place because of my stall, and even the stall fees have risen. But I don't have to pay any fees. The pedestrian street management has designated a free area for me, and they only hope that I can set up more stalls there, which makes me quite satisfied. Although there are more and more people lining up, I am still quite relaxed. For me, it is a matter of fate. I will close the stall when I make enough money. The new passers-by were shocked by the scene. Which celebrity is coming? Why is there such a long line? "You're the new guy, right?" The person next to him said with a smile. "This is Boss Su's stall. Hurry up and get in line, or there won't be any seats left." The line of customers was waiting impatiently, and I finally set up the stall. At the beginning, someone wailed, "What? The fried beef noodles are limited? The green bean shaved ice is also limited. Wow, life is so hard," someone complained in frustration. He had originally wanted to buy some more to take home as a midnight snack, but now there was no chance at all. I ignored their complaints and started to stir-fry beef noodles and twice-cooked pork. There were too many people, so I simply changed to a bigger pot. The new pot allows me to make 5 servings of fried beef noodles and 3 servings of twice-cooked pork at a time. But even so, I am still very busy. Fortunately, the customers are very conscientious. After ordering, they will calculate the bill themselves and supervise each other, for fear that I will make mistakes and suffer losses in a hurry. The first pot of beef noodles was just cooked, and I sold 4 portions and kept one for myself. Seeing their puzzled expressions, I smiled and said, "Sorry, I haven't had lunch yet." "Boss Sue hasn't eaten yet?" Someone in the team was surprised, and immediately someone sighed. "He must be too busy making food for us." Boss Sue works so hard. It's not easy for one person to make hundreds of copies and take care of the children at the same time. As soon as these words came out, the young ladies in the queue expressed their opinions one after another. "How about I marry Boss Sue and help him set up the stall? You? Please take care of your figure first, okay?" There was laughter at the scene. "Boss Sue, why don't you raise the price a bit? Take care of your health." "Yes, we agreed that we will eat the delicious food you cook for the rest of our lives." Someone started to take the opportunity to make jokes. I ignored the teasing and concentrated on eating my fried beef noodles. I also drank half a cup of mung bean shaved ice to relieve the greasiness. I immediately felt refreshed. However, when I finished eating, I found a group of young ladies surrounding me, holding fruit snacks in their hands, staring at me eagerly. The fruits they enthusiastically handed over made me laugh and cry. "How about putting them here? We can eat them after we finish setting up the stall." I made up an excuse. After hearing this, they reluctantly put the fruit on the dining cart. As a result, someone also put a room card on it, which stunned me on the spot. Pretending not to notice, I continued to cook. Evening? Not to mention evening. I even have to keep track of the time when the children get out of school. As the stall became busy again, the line began to move slowly. "Boss Sue, give me 2 boxes of crystal cakes. My grandson loves them the most," someone shouted. "I want fried beef noodles and a cup of green bean shaved ice." The crowd's enthusiasm did not diminish at all. Looking at the long queue, I could only speed up my hands. Although the line was terribly long, no one complained, and instead they all felt sorry for me. But even though they felt sorry for me, no one was willing to not queue. Watching the guests leaving with their delicious food in their hands, I looked up and saw that the length of the line had hardly changed. New people kept joining, making it as lively as a temple fair. The stall owner next to me was very happy. Although the traffic was coming for me, if 1 out of 10 people bought their things, they could still make a lot of money. In order to take advantage of my popularity, these stall owners deliberately adjusted their merchandise and tried not to sell the same things as me, and the effect was immediate. Before long, this once deserted corner became busier than the center of the pedestrian street, and the number of customers had already far exceeded those prime stalls. Those tourists who came for the first time were immediately curious when they saw such a spectacular line. They were reluctant to leave once they lined up and directly became new customers. Tourists from other places are even more exaggerated. They believe that places with many people are the characteristics of Shanghai, so my stall has become the iconic food of Shanghai. This side is bustling with activity, but the pedestrian street center over there is deserted. When they heard that my stall was open, all the customers came here. "No way, my pot cakes are already baked. You can't just leave like this." A stall owner shouted helplessly, and it was obvious that there was no way to keep them. "Octopus balls, big sale today. Come buy some. Spicy grilled gluten, $3 a stick, $10 for 3 sticks." The shouting sounded more like despair. The popularity of the entire central area was completely sucked away by me, leaving only a few scattered customers, and even they were ready to join in the fun. Seeing that the remaining 3 or 5 customers had all run away, the stall owners were obviously getting a little impatient. One stall owner selling spicy roasted pig's trotters threw down the iron rack and complained in frustration. "What is the origin of Boss Sue? Ever since he opened the stall, our business has been bad." Yes, although he only sets up the stall for a few hours, the business is getting better and better. "The rent here is much more expensive than over there," another boss echoed, his face full of dissatisfaction. "Oh, I can't stand it anymore. What's going on?" They were almost unable to bear it any longer. Seeing the business booming over there, while their side was becoming increasingly deserted, they felt a little frustrated. While they were still complaining, owners of other shops came over one after another and began to complain that Su Yang's stall was doing too good a business and was stealing their customers. But the problem is that Su Yang is also a serious business. What can everyone do? Although some people muttered, "Is there some kind of technology mixed into the food? Isn't it the same for everyone?" A boss asked tentatively. "Hey, Lao Ming, stop talking nonsense." Another boss stopped him. "How can the food we sell be technical? Don't mess with the tone." "No, I just want to take a look." "Do you know?" The number of people queuing there was so crazy that I have never seen such a crazy number in my life. Someone finally couldn't help it. We can't tolerate this. We have to find management and get that guy out of here today. Another boss said, gritting his teeth. Yes, let's find the management. How can we do business if that guy doesn't leave? Others also followed suit. Everyone was getting more and more excited, and they all went to the management of the pedestrian street to argue. After all, why did others have such a good business and such a cheap rent, but they had to pay such a high rent? Several people pushed open the door of the management office with anger, and a fragrant smell wafted into their noses. This taste, why does it look so familiar? They were stunned for a moment, then walked into the office and saw the leader of the management eating fried beef noodles and slurping green bean shaved ice with a look of enjoyment on his face. Seeing us come in, the leader didn't seem to panic. Instead, he continued to eat his fried beef noodles and said slowly, "Boss, what are you doing here? It's not time to pay the booth fee today, right?" Everyone's hearts sank. This leader obviously thought we were here to pay the booth fee. Everyone looked at each other, feeling unhappy but helpless. Brotherly, there's a new stall selling fried beef noodles on the pedestrian street recently, and I want to ask. A boss wanted to speak. Before he could finish his words, Brotherly interrupted him. Ask? What the hell? They are also doing a legitimate business, and they pay the same booth fee as you. Why? Are you jealous because others are doing well? Brotherly smiled, with a hint of sarcasm in his tone. Your stall is in the most prime location on the pedestrian street. If you can't do well, you should consider whether there is something wrong with you. Hearing this, everyone was speechless. Although they were not satisfied with Brother Lee's attitude, they had no way to refute it. What he said did make sense. I've already given you the lowest rent. Don't complain about it being too expensive. Brother Lee took another sip of mung bean smoothie and suddenly became serious. You also have to think about how fierce the competition is for prime locations here. If it weren't for our long-standing friendship, would I rent a stall for you every year? He said loudly, as if emphasizing his fairness. Actually, I'm not afraid to tell you the truth. Brotherly smiled and looked at everyone. That boss Sue is just a strategy of the higher-ups to attract popularity. When he's popular enough, he'll be kicked out. By then, all these customers will become yours. After hearing these words, everyone suddenly became enlightened and smiles appeared on their faces, as if they understood Brother Lee's intention. Thank you, Brother Lee, a boss said respectfully. Brother Lee is the most fair person. We believe in you. Everyone took out the expensive cigarettes they had prepared and handed them over. Brotherly did not refuse and accepted them with a smile. Okay, go back if you have nothing else to do. You can earn more money there. Brotherly waved his hand and sent everyone away. After everyone left the office, Brotherly leaned back on the sofa, showing a satisfied smile, and whispered, "Baby, be gentle." Chapter 191, My Pancake Oil? My pancake oil? Beef pancakes, special offer today. Buy 2, get 1 free. The stall owner's shout resounded throughout the pedestrian street. Seeing the surrounding merchants returning to their own shops, they understood that the management would not take care of me for the time being, and I could only rely on myself to solve the problem. Some even thought about making trouble for me and asking me to get out. But looking at the people queuing in front of my stall, they knew that this method would not work. There were so many people like a tide who would dare to offend them easily. After discussing, they decided to launch a price war. Every time I came to set up my stall in the afternoon, they would offer discounts and promotions, thinking that this would attract customers. But the reality slapped them in the face. No customers came at all. The boss of the beef pancakes shouted anxiously, "Young man, $5 for a beef pancake, special price today." A passing customer stopped, but soon frowned and pouted. Ugh, it's so greasy. I want to vomit when I smell it. Hearing this, the boss was furious. Isn't it unfair for you to say that? He angrily approached his pancake stall and sniffed it, and couldn't help but realize that it was indeed a bit greasy. The boss wanted to argue, "Just smell how delicious my pancakes are." But when he saw the customer took out a package and opened it to reveal the fried beef noodles made by Su Yang, he held back his words. "Look at this. It's really fragrant greasy." "Not greasy at all. I want to eat it just by smelling it," the customer said proudly, and finally left the sentence. "Your scones are so delicious that even a dog can't eat them." The boss was speechless. His pancakes had never been insulted like this before, especially when he smelled the aroma of my fried beef noodles. He couldn't stop eating it and couldn't refute it at all. The customer closed the box with a smug look on his face and said, "Want to eat? Go line up. There are so many people here now." I'm afraid you'll have to wait in line for an hour." The boss could only watch him leave in silence, feeling very aggrieved. He has been making beef scones for more than 10 years and has never encountered such a bad thing. But the problem is that although Su Yang does not sell scones, he has raised people's taste standards and made them no longer satisfied with ordinary delicacies. It is easy to go from frugality to extravagance, but difficult to go from extravagance to frugality. This saying couldn't be more appropriate. After eating the delicious food I made, the food from other stalls looked like industrial waste and was simply not worth your attention. In fact, it is not just the beef pancake owner. Several other stall owners who have lowered their prices have also encountered the same dilemma. Despite the price reduction and more snacks and drinks, no one is willing to stop. They couldn't even understand why no one was buying any of the cheap food and why everyone had to line up for the food at my stall. A spicy hot pot owner shouted unwillingly, "Handsome men and beautiful women, please have some Jingzhou spicy hot pot. The queue is 1 hour long. Eat some spicy hot pot to relax." However, the couple passed by and just asked in return, "Is your spicy hot pot as delicious as the food made by Boss Su?" Hearing this, the owner of Malatang was stunned. He wanted to curse back, but when he thought about the current situation, he remained silent. The customers were dissatisfied with him and even laughed at Malatang. "If it tastes like Boss Su's, would you still need to queue up?" One of the couples challenged, "Your spicy hot pot is more expensive than hot pot. Look at Boss Su's chicken wings, which are only over 20 yuan. Not only are they cheap, but they taste great." The boss of the spicy hot pot restaurant felt his face turn red. Normally, he would definitely fight back, but now the customer's words left him speechless. Seeing the bleak state of his business, he couldn't help but start thinking whether he should improve the taste. Su Yang's influence has permeated every stall, and even the owner of the Malatang restaurant has begun to feel the changes he has brought. Chapter 192. Don't worry. We'll leave after we finish eating. I watched the owners of the spicy hot pot and beef pancakes stare at each other, their eyes full of helplessness and sadness. Like me, they had just been ruthlessly criticized by customers. Who can understand that feeling? The spicy hot pot boss sighed, and he seemed to be thinking whether his cooking skills were really not good enough. Looking at the shops around him, all the promotions were ineffective, and no one came in. He knew in his heart that there was only one truth. Their food could not compare with my deliciousness. He shook his head helplessly and had to accept this fact. He used to think his shop had the best location, but now, stalls near the street corners attracted more customers. Su Yang's stall had already taken away all their business. I saw their anxious eyes and sneered in my heart. It is this blind price war that makes their taste buds more and more picky, and they are no longer satisfied with ordinary food. I am never afraid of their price cuts. After all, true deliciousness is not just determined by price. But as the Malatang boss watched more and more customers approaching my stall from a distance, he finally decided to take the initiative and say, "Hey, how about some Malatang? There are too many people queuing up. Come and try my food." He tried to remain calm, but he knew in his heart that this method was no longer useful. However, when the couples answered, "If your Malatang is as delicious as Boss Su's, you won't need to queue up," the Malatang owner was stunned. He felt unwilling and ashamed. He moved his mouth, but couldn't say anything. His food seemed so inferior compared to mine. After watching the customers leave, he realized that the title of Malatang Assassin was firmly attached to him. Business was not good, and his mentality naturally collapsed. He began to lose confidence in himself. But this is not just the worry of the Malatang boss. Other businesses are also struggling. No customers are staying. They have obviously lowered the price and given away free drinks and snacks, but they still failed to attract popularity. Everyone's expression is very embarrassed. Looking at me, who is already lined up in the distance, their inner disappointment is getting worse. Some merchants even began to wonder whether they should just give up their afternoon business and take a nap. The comparison made them feel powerless. The emergence of competitor Su Yang almost made them completely uncompetitive. When they saw a few customers approaching my stall, they initially thought that this was a turnaround, thinking that these people had finally figured it out, but their hopes were dashed when customers walked into other shops just to find a place to sit. Customers only chose to go into these stores because the queues in front of my stall were too long. Seeing these people sit down and order 3 bottles of mineral water, their mood instantly changed. The Malatang boss even began to smile proudly, thinking that he had made some money. 3 bottles of mineral water. The spicy hot pot owner smiled and thought to himself, although it is not a big order, it is still a business. Seeing the customer in front of him leave with satisfaction, he couldn't help but look at the beef pancake owner, and he began to feel a little proud. However, the boss of the beef pancake shop had a completely different feeling. He used to think that his shop had the best location, and the central area of the pedestrian street was the golden zone. But now he finally realized that the real golden zone should be the place near Su Yang's stall. He watched the customer open the box and smell the aroma of the fried beef noodles I made, and he was eager to eat it. Even if he didn't say it, his stomach had already started to react. So he simply took out his phone and played Douyin, trying to make himself forget the aroma in front of him. But he didn't expect that what he saw was a video of me making fried beef noodles, and some netizens even shared reviews of my food. He looked at these contents and cursed in his heart. Is this world ruled by Su Yang? Seeing these customers eating heartily, the beef pancake owner couldn't help swallowing his saliva, but he was afraid that he would steal some, so he had to lower his head and continue to browse his phone. He knew in his heart that he was truly surrounded by this stall, with no room for resistance. Chapter 193, Is There Any Justice in the World? I watched as several bosses gathered together and began to discuss countermeasures. They were clearly unwilling to give up and were ready to take some unconventional measures. Let's each buy one and say it's not tasty after eating it. One boss suggested. No, there are so many people queuing up, no one will believe me even if I say it's not tasty. Then you can just pretend to be sick and have convulsions because of allergic ingredients, another boss said half-jokingly. I couldn't help laughing when I heard this, but they really decided to do it. However, seeing the queue of hundreds of people in front of them, several bosses were obviously a little timid. Seeing this scene, they knew very well that if this queue started to form, they would probably have to wait for a long time. One boss murmured quietly, "This line will take an hour, right?" Another boss looked at the long queue and sighed. "I don't think it will work." One boss started to get anxious. He saw a customer in front of him buying 3 servings of fried beef noodles and made an offer directly. "I'll give you double the price. Just sell me one." The customer responded with disdain. "Double price? Are you kidding me? What a joke. I wouldn't even sell it at 5 times the price." These bosses looked helpless, seeing that others couldn't even sell at 5 times the price, and they had to enjoy 3 servings of fried beef noodles by themselves, which really discouraged them. "Forget it. Just queue up honestly." A boss finally sighed. "Just queue up. Our store has no business anyway. It's only a matter of time." Just when they were about to line up, they didn't expect Su Yang to cook so fast that it was their turn in less than half an hour. This efficiency was really astonishing. "Boss, I want 3 servings of chicken tofu." The spicy hot pot boss was taking orders in front of me. I raised my head slightly and pointed to the vertical purchase limit sign. "Sorry, many things are limited." "Purchase restrictions? What kind of operation is this?" They were stunned. A street vendor is using hunger marketing? They began to doubt whether I really knew how to do business, but they didn't expect that I really did it. The people queuing behind obviously couldn't wait any longer. "Can you guys hurry up? There are so many people behind us." "That's right, stop wasting time." Some customers even urged directly. I saw their reactions and smiled. "Everyone wait a moment, 20 minutes at most." After that, I turned around to pick up my daughter from school. Several bosses looked confused. "Wait a minute? What are you doing?" "Setting up a stall to sell things. And you're going to pick up your child halfway through the sale?" But what's strange is that other customers in the queue actually said, "It's okay, Basu is going to pick up his daughter. It's okay for everyone to wait." Their reaction shocked me even more. The Malatang boss was about to collapse when he saw this scene. "So many customers are willing to wait. How can you be so willful?" I set up a stall to sell things, and it didn't even delay school, and the customers still support me. What surprised me even more was that many customers offered to take the initiative to say, "You can drive our car to pick up your daughter." I was speechless. The customers in line were not only willing to eat my food, but also to lend me their car. The spicy hot pot boss looked at these people and was completely shocked. "You guys drive such an expensive car, but you are willing to queue up to eat at a street stall? What's going on?" He couldn't understand. I also knew that he would never understand that after making such delicious food, he would be treated differently. Because if it tasted good, he could do whatever he wanted. Chapter 194, It Smells So Good. I can't resist it for a moment. "Dad, why are there still so many people queuing?" Nuonyuo stood on a small stool and looked up at the queue behind him that seemed to have no end in sight. I was also stunned. There were originally 70 or 80 people left when I left, but I didn't expect that the number doubled in such a short period of time, and the team is still growing. It is now past 5 o'clock, which is the peak time for getting off work. Many people saw the message from the Penguin Food Group and rushed to join in the fun. Boss Sue's little cutie is out of school. "I'm here to give you an apple." Manhwa, little cutie. Annie has some chocolates here. Sister has some white rabbit milk candy, bought especially for you. Oh, and you can give it to your dad too. As soon as Nua appeared, a group of people immediately gathered around and took the initiative to feed her food. Nuonyo really enjoys this kind of scene. After all, there are fresh delicacies every day. But I am strict and don't allow her to eat too much candy and chocolate because I'm afraid she will get cavities. I don't even let her eat too much fruit. However, she hasn't had white rabbit candy for a long time, so I couldn't help but feel a little soft-hearted and reached out to take the candy she handed over. She smiled and thanked me, her eyes sparkling with joy. No, you can only eat two. I whispered a warning to her, and her expression instantly dimmed. She could only helplessly return the candy to the sister in front of her, but her eyes still showed reluctance. Boss Sue, these candies, my teeth are hurting recently, and I can't eat them. Seeing Nonua's pleading eyes, the elder sister immediately made an excuse. Look, elder sister can't finish it. These candies can't be wasted. Let's help her eat it. Nua took the opportunity to speak up, and everyone could see clearly what she was thinking. Everyone around laughed, and I smiled helplessly, stretched out my hand to pinch her cheek, and put the candy in my pocket. Nuonuo stared at my pocket happily, knowing that all the candies would be hers in the end. However, the customers in front seemed impatient, and several shop owners began to complain. Boss Sue, can you open this stall? We've been waiting for so long. That's right. Can't you hurry up? Before I could say anything, Noah had already lowered his head and said aggrievedly, I'm sorry, uncles. I kept you waiting for so long because my dad had to pick me up from school, so it took a long time. Dad is so tired taking care of me alone. Please don't blame him. Seeing her like this, several shop owners were stunned. Who could bear to get angry at a 3-year-old child? Even the customers behind me stood up to speak for me. You guys have been complaining since just now. Are you here to buy anything? Boss Sue is taking care of the kids by himself, so what's wrong with picking him up from school? I'm warning you, if Boss Sue gets angry with you and stops doing business, I won't allow it. Faced with this situation, several shop owners seemed a little embarrassed. Fortunately, they had not been recognized, otherwise their business would have been ruined. I said calmly, sorry to have kept you waiting. I remember you are all together, right? 3 servings of fried beef noodles, 2 servings of twice-cooked pork, and chicken tofu pudding. After saying that, I started to get busy. The hot pot began to boil, and my movements became faster and faster. Although the bosses sold different things, they were all amazed when they saw the way I fried beef noodles. My flipping movements are extremely precise, exactly 78 times each time, never more or less. It's as accurate as an AI computer. Under high temperature and fierce fire, I did not stop flipping the pan, and the beef noodles were fried with a charred aroma. Looking at their expressions, I knew they were shocked by my skills. They couldn't help swallowing, and even their nostrils were flaring unconsciously. The fragrance was overwhelming. When I prepared the fried beef noodles for packaging, several shop owners couldn't help but say, no need to pack them up. We can just eat them directly. Yes, let's just eat it. It's so delicious. I can't resist it for a moment. Chapter 195. No. How can we attack? Master Yang, look, this fried noodle spreads out easily with chopsticks, and it's not greasy at all. Yeah, it feels better than the one you made. Yes, Master Yang, you should really learn from this. This is what Boss Su calls fried noodles. Master Yang felt a little bitter when he heard these words. Although he was good at making fried noodles, Su Yang's skills were too high. The difference was immediately apparent. Looking at the plate of fried beef noodles in front of you, even if you haven't tasted it, you can tell just by looking at it that it tastes much better than what you make yourself. Several other bosses also knew this and couldn't wait to take a bite. In an instant, their tongues were amazed. This refreshing, tender, and crispy taste is something they have never experienced before. It's so delicious. Master Yang, an expert in fried noodles and vermicelli, finally discovered the difference after tasting several bites. He realized that the seasonings used by Su Yang in stir-fried beef noodles, especially the soy sauce, were specially blended to give them a more layered flavor. This bowl of fried beef noodles made him realize that the gap between chefs was so obvious. It was simply a chasm. Master Yang felt upset and couldn't help thinking, the thing I was so proud of was easily surpassed by the other party. It felt like someone else could just stand up and pedal the bicycle I was reluctant to ride. Although other bosses don't make fried noodles or stir-fried vermicelli, they have similar thoughts in their minds. They are really delicious. Wow, this fried beef noodles is really delicious. We came here to discuss Boss Su just now. How come we seem to be attracted to him now? The Malatang boss was the first to react. Brothers, how can we say that this fried beef noodles taste bad now? This, I really can't say it. Then we can only change the way we say it. Let's talk about some minor problems as usual. Everyone argued for a long time, but in the end, no one dared to be the first to stand up. The food Su Yang made was so delicious that they couldn't say they didn't like it. Your twice-cooked pork is ready. Twice-cooked pork? Don't worry. Try it first to see if there is any problem. After several people took the twice-cooked pork, they picked it up with chopsticks and put it in their mouths. In an instant, the wonderful taste filled their mouths. The rich aroma, slightly spicy with a touch of numbness, and the meat was fat but not greasy, which was simply intoxicating. Fuck, this twice-cooked pork is really... Isn't it better than what your wife makes? This is even better than what my wife makes. Every piece of meat is just the right amount of fat and lean, and it tastes absolutely amazing. They all said that if this twice-cooked pork appeared in the hotel, it would cost at least 128 yuan. I can really eat 3 bowls of rice with this twice-cooked pork. Although several bosses were unwilling, their sense of happiness could not be ignored. They originally wanted to disgust Su Yang by framing him, but a serving of fried beef noodles and twice-cooked pork completely convinced them. They never thought that they would be completely conquered by the food made by a street vendor. Afterwards, Su Yang handed over the prepared chicken tofu, royal chicken wings, and crystal shrimp dumplings. They were busy wiping their mouths while eating and couldn't stop at all. Every dish was delicious. After finishing the meal, they wiped the corners of their mouths, still not satisfied. They looked at each other and lined up at the end of the line to prepare for the second round. They said they wanted to study Su Yang's method, but in fact they were completely addicted to it. Nono, are you hungry? I didn't notice the strange behavior of the bosses at all. I just saw Nono sitting on a small stool enjoying the cool breeze from the fan. This fan is really powerful. No matter how hot the fire is around, you can still feel a cool feeling, just like being in an air-conditioned room. She had just eaten crystal shrimp dumplings, drank green bean smoothie, and ate a lot of snacks, especially a lot of fruits. Logically, she shouldn't be hungry, but after hearing my question, she blinked without hesitation and said, "Hungry!" I couldn't help but laugh and understood what she was thinking. "Nunhuo, are you greedy again?" She stuck out her tongue mischievously. Obviously, she was not really hungry, but just greedy. He, Nuonuo, can say it even with her eyes closed. Her cute little expression made me see through her thoughts. She wasn't really hungry, but she wanted to eat some more twice-cooked pork or chicken tofu pudding. Of course, she also remembered the crystal cake. She touched her belly and said that as long as it was delicious food cooked by me, she wouldn't mind eating more. Chapter 196, she used to beg me to wear it. But now she's pretending to be serious. At 7:30 in the evening, I finally finished my work and closed the stall. Almost all the ingredients I brought were consumed. In order to cater to these customers, I prepared at least 300 servings of each delicacy. But even so, many people still didn't get to eat it. So many people around here that many new customers joined the queue. And many of my fans are office workers. Many of them are still working overtime. And when I close the stall, some of them have not yet finished work. I just did some calculations and found that today's income was 35,000 yuan, and the system points were 2930. Of course, if Xiao Feifei's reward was included, it would be even more. I am very satisfied with my current life. I can spend more time with my little ones and bring happiness to my customers through delicious food. After packing up the stall, I plan to take Nuonuo home directly. Tomorrow is Friday, the little guy has to go to kindergarten, and they have parent-child activities. Xiao Feifei agreed to come this time. Originally, I didn't want to have too much entanglement with Xiao Feifei. I helped her make the liver paste soup today because I happen to know how to make it, and the reward was also very attractive. If someone else came to me, I would agree. The phone rang. It was a message from the little one's kindergarten group. Tomorrow, parents are requested to wear parent-child outfits when they come. I was stunned. Parent-child outfits? This is really embarrassing. I quickly sent a message to Xiao Feifei. There's a kindergarten activity tomorrow. You didn't forget it, did you? Xiao Feifei quickly replied. I know, what's wrong? Teacher Zhang just announced that we need to wear parent-child clothing. Parent-child clothing? Her tone suddenly became a little subtle, and then asked, Have you bought it? Just announced. How should I know? Didn't you participate before? Where are you now? It's still not too late to buy it. I rode Noanua back home on an electric tricycle and was about to pack up when Xiao Feifei arrived in her red Porsche. She was wearing a tight red skirt. She was tall, and her delicate features and long legs made her look like a work of art. "Mom, you look so beautiful today." As soon as Noonyuo saw Xiao Feifei, he ran over immediately. "If you say that, does that mean Mom wasn't beautiful before?" Xiao Feifei was obviously in a good mood. When she saw Noonyuo say that, she smiled. Noonyuo responded sweetly, "Mom is beautiful every day." She held Xiao Feifei's hand, her face full of joy, because she could finally participate in this parent-child activity with her mother. "What are you still standing there for? Didn't you buy the parent-child outfit?" Seeing me standing there in a daze, Xiao Feifei urged me. "By the way, you drive the car. I'm wearing high heels today." As she spoke, she handed me the car keys. I looked down at her high heels, a little speechless. "Then how did you drive here?" "Take off your shoes." I complained in my heart, but I didn't dare to say it out loud, otherwise she would definitely be unhappy again. We walked to the car together, and she took off her shoes while walking towards the car with Noonyuo. I couldn't help but ask myself, what's the point of driving in high heels? However, this was just my thought, and I didn't dare say it out loud. We drove all the way to the nearby shopping mall, which closed at 11 p.m., so we had plenty of time to go shopping. We took the elevator to the first floor, and the three of us immediately attracted the attention of many passersby with our good looks. "Mom, this phantom space looks interesting." Noonyuo pointed excitedly at the cabins of the spaceships in front of him, obviously wanting to play. Xiao Feifei's face immediately changed. "Noonyuo, stop it. This so-called phantom space is a 3D VR game. Xiao Feifei suffered a lot last time because of 3D dizziness, and she doesn't want to be cheated again this time." I quickly came to the rescue. "No, let's go buy parent-child clothing first." Although the little one followed me, she still looked towards the VR game area. For her, this kind of game was extremely attractive. However, she knew she could go to kindergarten with us tomorrow, so she decided to buy parent-child outfits first. In fact, we already had parent-child outfits at home, but they were only for me and Noonyuo, and she always complained that my fashion sense was bad. But after all, I am handsome and can look good in any clothes. Chapter 197, The Whole Family Are Celebrities? Which floor should we go to? Xiao Feifei asked me and Noonyuo. She was not familiar with shopping malls and rarely came here. I looked at the sign next to the elevator and answered her. "The third floor, there is a children's clothing area there. Let's go to the third floor first." We took the escalator up together. Noonyuo held my hand and then Xiao Feifei's hand and jumped happily. Her left hand tightly grasped mine, and her right hand grasped Xiao Feifei's hand, feeling two completely different hands. My hands were warm and large, while Xiao Feifei's hands were delicate, smooth, and slightly cold. Noonyuo was very satisfied with the two big hands and ran around happily between us like a little elf. Soon, we arrived at the clothing store on the third floor. Through the glass, I saw that there was a special parent-child clothing area inside. The models were wearing these parent-child clothing, and they looked perfect. Our appearance immediately attracted the attention of the store clerks, and they were especially amazed by the looks of Xiao Feifei and me. The female clerk walked up and asked politely, "What kind of clothes do you want to buy?" Her eyes rested on Noonyuo, and she obviously guessed that we were here to buy clothes for our children. Noonyuo blinked her big eyes and said in a soft voice, "Miss, we want to buy parent-child clothing." These words instantly filled the female clerk's maternal love. The little guy is so adorable. She also fantasized that one day she would have a daughter like Noonyuo. She couldn't help but look at me and Xiao Feifei again. We were two extremes. I am as warm as the spring breeze, while Xiao Feifei is an icy beauty. "We can take a look at any set. They're all okay," I said casually, and the female clerk smiled helplessly. She obviously knew that men were not interested in these things, and they were used to my casual attitude. Usually, when men go shopping, they will say it's all right or it's almost the same or even it's okay. The little guy and Xiao Feifei had obviously reached a consensus and completely ignored me when choosing clothes. They started choosing clothes in tacit understanding, leaving me drinking lemonade in the lounge area. I didn't mind. I sat on the sofa and felt comfortable as long as they didn't ask for my opinion. After some selection, Noonyuo finally chose a set of pure cotton t-shirt and shorts with a bear pattern, which are both comfortable and cute to wear. Xiao Feifei chose a beige and light yellow combination, which made her look more mature and elegant. As for me, Xiao Feifei and Noonyuo picked a set of black and yellow clothes, which looked more stable. After the three of us put on the new clothes and walked out of the fitting room, even the female clerk was amazed. Other customers couldn't help but stop and focus their eyes on us. They are indeed a family of three with great looks. Their temperament and appearance complement each other. Passers-by outside even thought we were models hired by the store. We were so eye-catching. If they didn't know that Xiao Feifei and I were divorced, they would definitely envy our family of three. When the saleswoman saw us trying on clothes, she immediately started complimenting us. Your family fits these clothes so well. You look like models. She even joked that she wanted to invite our family to take some promotional photos and even wanted to replace the star posters on the wall with our photos. She thinks we are no worse than those stars, but more real and natural. Chapter 198. Although Xiao Feifei and Nuonyuo were both very satisfied with this set of clothes, it was obvious that one set was not enough. For Nuonyuo, today was the day to finally get rid of my bad taste in clothes, so of course I had to take the opportunity to buy a few more nice clothes. Xiao Feifei was in a good mood today. As long as her daughter liked it, she would buy her anything, even all the clothes in the whole store. With her help, Nuonyuo picked out 2 sets of clothes, one of which was a pink overall skirt with cartoon patterns on the fabric, which looked very suitable. There is also a fashionable chiffon dress with blue butterfly flowers on the white base. Imagine how beautiful Nuonyuo must be wearing it. As for Xiao Feifei, she also picked 2 pieces at random, both of which were chosen to match Nuonyuo. I was calmly browsing my phone. I didn't have to set up a stall today, so I had plenty of time. Suddenly, I received a message on WeChat. It was from Lin Xiyin, the campus beauty of Jiangning University. She originally wanted to come to my stall to buy some delicious food, and also wanted to use this opportunity to get closer to Nuonyuo. However, she waited for a long time and found that I had no information about setting up a stall in the evening, so she sent me a private message. I simply replied, I have something to do today, so I won't set up a stall. What about tomorrow? Tomorrow I have to accompany Nuonyuo to the kindergarten to participate in a parent-child activity. It depends on the situation. Parent-child activity? It seems quite interesting. Can I go? Nono's mom is here too. Okay. I put down my phone, and Nono ran over excitedly and took my hand. Dad, can I wear this dress forever? She was so pleased with her new clothes that she didn't even want to take them off. I smiled and replied, sure, but you have to wash it when you get home and let it dry before you can wear it. Although she was a little disappointed, she could only comfort herself that at least she could wear it on the way home. Then she asked excitedly, Dad, can we take a photo together? Together? Well, it's me. You and Mom. I was silent for a moment and looked at Xiao Feifei, who was standing beside me. A blush flashed across Xiao Feifei's face, but she quickly regained her composure. Nuonyuo took our hands without waiting for us to react. I nodded, and Xiao Feifei handed the female clerk her phone and asked her to take a photo for us. The salesgirl turned on her camera and quickly took a few photos for us. Nuonyuo's expressions are rich and varied, such as pouting, making scissors hands, and acting cool, and every action is full of cuteness. Xiao Feifei is a little stiff and wants to cooperate, but doesn't know how to pose. I'm not very good at taking photos myself. I can only do the simplest scissors hand gesture, thumbs up, and a bright smile. But even with simple movements, our tacit understanding and good looks still make the photos look very good. After taking the photos, I was ready to check out, but I found that Xiao Feifei had already paid. The 3 sets of clothes cost nearly 6,000 yuan in total. For ordinary people, this is indeed not cheap, but for Xiao Feifei, it is just a drop in the bucket. Although I don't have to pay, I still have to play the role of carrying the bag. Nuonyuo wanted to carry it, but she didn't have enough strength, so she had to ask me to help her carry the bag. I was carrying 2 bags in one hand. Xiao Feifei looked at me and gave a helpless smile. Seeing me being a little clumsy in the mall, I was totally different from the handsome guy when cooking. She suddenly felt emotional and recalled the little things we had done since college. There are too many new things in life, but as time goes by, we gradually walk to different intersections. At this moment, Nuonyuo is looking through the photos taken by the female clerk just now. She found some photos of me setting up a stall with her and making liver paste soup, and even saw the moment when I was concentrating on stir-frying beef noodles. Every photo was so clear that even my focused look while cooking was clearly visible. Nono murmured, Dad's so handsome. Chapter 199. Men can understand it. When Xiao Feifei heard Nuonyuo's voice, her reaction was almost instantaneous. Her face turned red. Although Nuonyuo was only looking at the photos in the phone gallery and did not see the hidden folder, the embarrassment at that moment still made her blush. In particular, there was a video of me singing My Desk Mate at a music festival in the gallery. That song was incredibly charming. Nuonuo was watching it intently, and Xiao Feifei quickly reached out and took the phone back. Then, she turned off the screen in one go and put the phone in her pocket. Nuonuo was stunned, obviously not understanding why her mother reacted so strongly. "What's wrong, Mom?" She looked at Xiao Feifei in confusion. "Nothing." Xiao Feifei lowered her head, not daring to look me in the face, her face still flushed. She stamped her feet and said hurriedly, "Let's go." "Oh." Although Nuonuo was a little confused, she still nodded obediently. At this time, I just walked over and was about to leave with them. However, Xiao Feifei walked out first. I looked at her back, feeling a little confused. I looked at Nuonuo. She looked at me with innocent eyes, as if to say, "Did you make your mother angry again?" I could only shrug helplessly and shook my head. Okay. The three of them left the clothing store and took the escalator downstairs. We should have gone straight home, but when we passed by the naughty castle, Nono excitedly pointed at the ocean ball slide. "Dad, Mom, I want to play that." Xiao Feifei's mood also calmed down. Seeing Nuonuo's request, she couldn't help but think of what happened a few days ago. That time at the cultural square, Nuonuo insisted on playing the pirate ship. She insisted that she was not a 3-year-old child and would not play such a children's project. But now, she wants to play with these things that only children play with. Can her age be flexibly increased or decreased? Xiao Feifei smiled helplessly. Since she was accompanying her today, she might as well make her happy. "Okay, I'll go play with you." Nuonuo shook her head and said firmly, "No, Mom, I can go play by myself." She turned her head and looked at me and said in a serious tone, "Dad, you and Mom can chat here. I will go play by myself." Xiao Feifei and I looked at each other in a moment of embarrassment. Obviously, neither of us expected this to happen. However, Nuonuo had made up her mind. After I bought the tickets, she excitedly ran into the naughty castle, leaving the two of us standing there in a daze. We sat on a bench outside and no one spoke. In the castle, Nono poked his little head out from the pile of ocean balls and shouted playfully, "Dad, Mom, your little cutie can only help you so far. Let's get along well." Hearing her words, Xiao Feifei sat on the bench, her heartbeat speeding up. This feeling was the same as the first date, awkward but full of familiarity. As time goes by, we go from strangers to acquaintances and then to separation, but we can still feel each other's presence in these simple moments. Passersby outside stopped to watch. It was obvious that Xiao Feifei's beauty had attracted a lot of attention. Her appearance is almost star-level, especially when she wears high heels. It is simply impossible to take your eyes off her. The young men passing by couldn't help but take a second look, but when they saw me sitting next to them, they hesitated. I smiled and thought, sure enough, when with Xiao Feifei, even passersby would be somewhat conscious. A few young girls not far away also looked at me, and their eyes stayed on me for a while. Then, a few of my fans passed by and immediately ran over to greet me excitedly when they saw me. "Boss Sue, what a coincidence. Why aren't you at the stall tonight? Are you on a date with a beautiful lady?" What's more, he also knew that Boss Sue was divorced and single. Sometimes it's not shameful to have more friends of the opposite sex around you and comfort each other. Men can understand. Chapter 200, the little guy is starting to fall in love with the domineering president. Seeing the middle-aged man's eyes showing, "I understand you," I instantly realized that he had misunderstood. I just took Nuonuo out to buy parent-child clothes. There will be an activity at her kindergarten tomorrow. "Oh, so that's how it is. I understand." Even though I explained, the other party was obviously not listening and even winked at me before leaving. Before leaving, he turned back to remind me, "Boss Sue, don't forget to open the stall tomorrow. I'm still waiting to eat your delicious food. By the way, I won't tell anyone about what happened today. Remember to sell me an extra box of crystal cake tomorrow." Seeing him leave, Xiao Feifei and I felt helpless. Especially Xiao Feifei. Her teeth were almost broken. What does this person think of himself? She thought about it and shook her head, as if she didn't quite believe that I would be that kind of person. No, Suyang doesn't look like that kind of person. She thought about it and seemed to be relieved. "Sorry just now." Xiao Feifei and I finally opened up the conversation because of the middle-aged man's interlude, and the atmosphere was not so awkward. "Mom, come in quickly. I prepared some pink slippers for Mom." Nuonuo looked at Xiao Feifei and pulled her into the house. Xiao Feifei was going to leave immediately, but she had to go into my house because of the insistence of the little one. Once inside, Nua was busy running around, taking slippers, handing out water, and serving fruits, looking like a little adult. Seeing this, I felt warm in my heart. The little guy doesn't seem to be affected by our divorce at all. He's still so lively and cheerful. This made me feel relieved and relieved. You guys sit down and have a rest first. I'll go make you some midnight snacks. I walked to the kitchen to prepare something delicious. Dad, let me help you wash the vegetables. Nuo immediately stood up and wanted to help. She is now quite skilled and has become my little helper. I smiled and touched her little head. Not necessary today. Go sit with your mother for a while. Nuo nodded, then turned and walked towards the living room. She looked at Xiao Fei and said with concern, Mom has lost weight recently. Is it because you haven't been eating well? This is not good. Dad said that if your stomach is hungry, you can't eat delicious food. Xiao Fei was also touched when she heard her soft and caring words. While I was busy, Xiao Fei pulled Nuo over and held her in her arms, and the two of them snuggled together. At this moment, Xiao Fei felt extremely warm and even wanted to stay in this time. Although the house in front of her is not as good as the one we lived in when we separated, it is where she truly feels at home. If time could stop, she hopes to stay at this moment forever. Nuo suddenly turned on the TV, and the screen was playing The Best Time, a TV series starring Brother Xiaoming. Xiao Fei was a little confused when she saw this scene. Why would Nuo like to watch this kind of drama? What's wrong? Mom, isn't being a domineering CEO good? Isn't Mom a domineering female executive? Xiao Fei was a little stunned by the sudden call, but she quickly reacted and turned the TV back to the children's cartoon channel. No, you are not allowed to watch this kind of TV series in the future. What's wrong, Mom? Just don't look. Okay. Although Nu didn't quite understand, she still listened obediently. Then, my voice came from the kitchen. It's time to eat. I brought out the fried shredded potatoes, and when I saw Xiao Fei's expression, I couldn't help but ask, can you keep an eye on Nuo? He's already started watching dramas about overbearing CEOs. Boss! I was stunned for a moment, then I reacted. I walked to Nuo and flicked her head gently. Nanuo, didn't we agree not to watch these? Nuo covered her head and looked at Xiao Fei with an aggrieved face. It's not me who wants to see it, it's Mom who wants to see it. Xiao Fei couldn't help it and gave her a light slap on the head. Nuo immediately felt a little aggrieved and began to feel pressured. We were clearly having fun together just now. Why do I suddenly feel like I've become the little cutie being educated? Chapter 201 Mom, is the meat that Dad picked up more delicious? I served 3 dishes. Braised pork ribs, shredded potatoes with chili peppers, fried eggplant, and a big bowl of tomato and egg soup. Although these dishes are not big dishes and are not produced by the system, with my skills and understanding of cooking, the taste of them is still incredibly delicious. Moreover, the little girl Su Inua is a master at supporting the jokes. She always says that anything I cook is delicious. She is really confident in the dishes I cook, just like Teacher He's attitude towards Teacher Huang. She trusts me completely. It smells so good, Daddy. The little girl couldn't wait to pick up her chopsticks. The aroma made her mouth start to drool. She even planned to grab a piece of the secret braised spare ribs with her hands. Pa! Xiao Fei and I hit him with chopsticks almost at the same time. Don't use your hands directly. The little guy looked aggrieved instantly. Dad and Mom are so mean. Her expression was full of grievance, as if she was the most unfortunate child in the world. It seemed that she was not always happy even with her mother around. She picked up the chopsticks. Although she was not very skilled and looked a little funny, she tried her best to eat the delicious spare ribs and finally picked up a piece of braised spare ribs. Hey, I finally got it. She put the ribs into her bowl and smiled happily. You can use chopsticks, it's no worse than your hands. As the little guy bit into it, the gravy overflowed and the satisfaction was overwhelming. Every time he eats the food I cook, the little guy always feels that he is the happiest child in the world. The dishes on the table are delicious, and even Xiao Fei, who usually has a poor appetite, buries her head in eating. These home-cooked dishes are really delicious, and the rice is even more delicious than any rice she usually eats. I didn't eat much myself. I wasn't hungry, I just had a bowl of tomato and egg soup and savored it leisurely. I made this soup myself. It tasted better than what ordinary chefs make, with a moderate sweet and sour taste, and a smooth texture. Even the chef of the hotel managed by Xiao Fei couldn't make food taste this good. I sipped my soup and stole a glance at Xiao Fei. Although we were divorced, she was still as beautiful as ever. Except for occasionally looking tired, she was still so charming, always so slow when eating, completely different from the little guy. I looked at Sue Inua. The corners of her mouth were already full of grease. Don't eat so fast. Your stomach won't be able to take it. I couldn't help but remind her, but I still put food into her bowl from time to time. She took the opportunity to look at me and secretly gestured to her mother Chow Fei. I picked up a large piece of pork ribs for Chow Fei, and she was stunned. She lowered her head and whispered, "Thank you." But Nuonua looked curious and asked, "Mom, is the meat that Dad picked up better?" This question embarrassed Chow Fei for a moment and even made me feel at a loss. I coughed lightly and tried to stay calm. Don't talk while eating. Don't talk while eating, and don't talk while sleeping. Nuonua made a face at me and then continued to eat her ribs. The ribs were so delicious that she couldn't stop eating them. I smiled slightly. This dish of spare ribs was made with my secret sauce. The seasonings alone include seafood sauce, sesame paste, star anise powder, etc. The taste is really amazing. Nuonua was busy eating and had no time to talk. In fact, she had already eaten a lot of snacks tonight, but she never thought too much of the food I made. As long as it was made by me, she would eat it until she couldn't eat anymore. 3 people, 3 dishes, and 1 soup. In less than half an hour, the 3 of them finished everything. Wash the dishes. Chow Fei suddenly spoke when I was about to clean up the table. You want to wash the dishes? I was stunned and looked at her in disbelief. Why? Can't I wash the dishes? Chow Fei asked, biting her lips slightly. Of course. I smiled. Then I'll trouble you today. I put the plates in the sink and walked past her easily. She didn't react until I walked past her. Su Yang, you are really... Chow Fei was speechless. She wanted to wash the dishes to express her love for the little guy. But I was too straightforward. She suddenly remembered that she was the one who paid for the parent-child outfit today, and I had never taken the initiative to pay the bill. She felt a little helpless and walked towards the kitchen with her long, white legs. I looked at her back and couldn't help but admit that Xiao Feifei's figure still cannot be ignored. Chapter 2. Oh, 2 usually get together. I watched Xiao Feifei standing by the sink washing dishes and couldn't help but find it funny. When has she ever washed the dishes? In all the years I've been with her, I've probably never seen her wash the dishes, except for washing my hair. Seeing her come out after finishing her work, Nunua immediately pulled her to sit on the sofa and said happily, "Mom, look at the apples on the table. They are big and round. They should be very sweet." Mom, are you not full?" Xiao Feifei glanced at Nuonua helplessly and pinched her little face. "Want me to peel an apple for you?" Nuonua nodded immediately, although her little face was pinched red. Xiao Feifei let go of her hand and picked up the fruit knife and apple on the table with graceful and focused movements. Soon, she had peeled the apple without even breaking the skin. Wow, Mom is so amazing. Dad is right. Only apples peeled by Mom will not break. From now on, when Nuonua wants to eat an apple, he can ask Mom to peel it for him. Okay. Looking at the sweet words coming out of Nunua's little mouth, Xiao Feifei's mood obviously improved. Although it was a little awkward here because of the divorce, the atmosphere brought by the little guy made her feel extremely comfortable. But when she looked at the time, it was already 10 o'clock, and she realized that it was time to go back. "Mom, are you leaving?" Nuonua bit an apple in her mouth, her eyes full of reluctance. Xiao Feifei stood up and touched Nuonuo's head. "Well, it's getting late. I should go back." "Nuonuo, you should also go to bed early. See you tomorrow." Xiao Feifei glanced at me, and I nodded, feeling a little reluctant. But Nuonuo kept holding her hand and begged, "Please, Mom, please stay and sleep with me tonight." Xiao Feifei looked down at her big eyes with clear black and white and felt a pang of sadness in her heart. She suddenly realized that although she had tried her best to create a relaxed atmosphere for Nono, the hurt that the divorce had brought to the little guy had not completely disappeared. She was slightly stunned, feeling a little reluctant. "Stay tonight. The little guy's room can sleep 2 people." I looked at her with a complicated look. Xiao Feifei was silent for a moment and finally nodded. "Okay. Yeah." Nono cheered, as excited as if he was dreaming. She held Xiao Feifei's hand with a happy look on her face. Although she didn't say anything, I knew in her heart that she hoped that the 3 of us could be together. Although Nuonuo is young and does not understand the relationship between her parents, she also longs for such a complete family in her heart. But I didn't bring pajamas. Xiao Feifei suddenly remembered that she didn't prepare pajamas. Nuonuo said generously, "It's okay, Mom, wear mine." She also said mischievously, I have many sets, Mom. You can pick whatever you want. I couldn't help but smile when I heard this. I didn't expect Nua Nua to be so considerate. Xiao Feifei looked at her, then looked down at her own figure, feeling a little conflicted. I understand what she means, although for convenience, the little guy forgot these questions for a moment. Then why don't you wear mine? Nuonuo realized the crux of the matter, and he just said it too easily. It's okay, I have a new set. I took out a brand new set of pajamas from the room and handed it to Xiao Feifei. At the same time, I also took out a brand new bath towel. Seeing all this, Nuonuo finally breathed a sigh of relief and happily held my and Xiao Feifei's hands. Dad and Mom, let's take a bath together today, okay? She looked at us expectantly. I was stunned for a moment, not knowing how to respond. Although we had similar moments before, today was different. Nuonuo looked at me puzzled, as if she didn't understand why I didn't want to take a bath with her. She lowered her head and rubbed her small bag, feeling a little aggrieved. I know she's a little unhappy, but what can Xiao Feifei and I do at this time? When washing, I saw that Xiao Feifei's toothbrush, tooth cup, and toothpaste were all ready. When she looked down and saw this, I could see that she was a little touched. This was just my usual habit, the details of taking care of the little guy, and Xiao Feifei seemed to begin to truly realize the little things I had done. She looked back at me and gave me a warm smile, as if everything was no longer so complicated. I smiled slightly, feeling a little warm inside, realizing that she might never have really felt the meticulous care I had given her over the years. Chapter 203, If They Really Get Back Together? Should I Be Happy? Xiao Feifei put on the new pajamas I bought, with Disney's Mickey Mouse pattern, especially the big eyes, which made her look particularly cute. Coming out of the bathroom, her aloof temperament was less a little, but she looked more gentle and lovely. The little girl, Su Inu, ran back to her pink princess room excitedly, looking forward to sleeping with her mother tonight. I just took a shower and came out, and happened to run into Xiao Feifei. Her appearance and figure are still perfect, and I am not bad either. Although I haven't exercised much, thanks to the systematic body strengthening, my muscles are firm and well-proportioned, and I can still see 6 abdominal muscles even in pajamas. We looked at each other, the air was frozen, and we didn't know what to say. In the past, we would definitely check if the little one was asleep, but now, although the atmosphere is somewhat ambiguous, we all know that we are divorced. The little guy's voice suddenly came from the room. Mom, are you still not well? Xiao Feifei came back to her senses, looked at me, and said softly, Go to bed early. I nodded, and she walked into Nua's room. The room is filled with pink decorations, and you can tell at a glance that I arranged it with great care. Not only was she neat and clean, but she was also full of girlishness. Xiao Feifei couldn't help but be moved when she saw this. Nua was already sleepy and shouted, Mom, come and sleep. If it were any other day, Nua would have fallen asleep long ago, but today was different. She wanted to snuggle in her mother's arms. Xiao Feifei's embrace was softer than a pillow. Nua buried her head gently in her embrace, her face full of satisfaction. Mom, you smell so good. As Xiao Feifei lay down, Nua got into her arms without hesitation. Xiao Feifei blushed slightly. After all, she rarely encountered such intimate moments. Mom, can you tell me a bedtime story? Nua looked up and looked at her with sparkling eyes. Xiao Feifei thought for a long time, and finally said with a smile, I can't. Hearing Xiao Feifei's answer, Nua was not disappointed at all, but said happily, Then let me tell you one. She cleared her throat and began to speak. One day, the rabbit came to the cafe and asked the owner if he had iced coffee. The owner said that there was no iced coffee in winter, only in summer. The next day, Rabbit came again and asked if there was any iced coffee, but the boss still said no. On the third day, Rabbit asked again, and the boss finally agreed, saying that it had been prepared long ago. Rabbit said, Then please heat it up. Xiao Feifei was stunned for a moment. What's wrong, Mom? Is my story not interesting? Nuo asked with a smile. Xiao Feifei smiled helplessly. What do you think? Who told you that? Dad. Xiao Feifei was speechless. Sure enough, this kind of dry humor joke was probably taught by me. I have always been unconventional and told humorous jokes. Mom doesn't like listening to stories, so let's sing a song. Seeing that Xiao Feifei was not interested, Nuo immediately suggested singing. I shook my head and said, Just sing. I'm not very good at singing, and although I'm confident, I don't like to show it. Nuo was very happy and began to sing. The dark sky is hanging low, with bright stars following. Insects are flying. Insects are flying. Who are you missing? Although she didn't sing very well, the tune was still right. Xiao Feifei looked at Nuonyuo and couldn't help wondering. How could a 3-year-old sing such a song? Did I really teach him? Her smile returned again, and this song was suitable for Nono and sounded particularly beautiful. Gradually, Nonoa fell asleep in Xiao Feifei's arms with a sweet smile on her face. Xiao Feifei was still awake, looking up at the lights on the roof, lost in thought. Everything seemed fine now, and although she was no longer CEO Xiao, she had found the meaning of life. But she suddenly took out her cell phone and found Feng Xiaoya. At this time, Feng Xiaoya was curled up in bed, eating a midnight snack, still crying, when suddenly her phone notified her of a new message. Feng Xiaoya was excited to see that it was a message from Xiao Feifei, and quickly clicked on it. Women, do you have to have your own career? Feng Xiaoya was extremely surprised and excited. Sister Feifei, have you finally figured it out? She immediately sent a message. Come to my house. I can help you. After seeing the message, Xiao Feifei immediately understood what Feng Xiaoya meant. She curled her lips slightly and typed back, get lost and go to sleep. Feng Xiaoya playfully sent a message. I've always been on your side. As long as you ask, I'll help you take down that man. Although Xiao Feifei did not respond directly, Feng Xiaoya could feel that the icy beauty had finally softened a little. She was happy, but also a little disappointed. If Sister Feifei and Su Yang get back together, will I be happy or unhappy? Chapter 188, A Bowl of Liver Paste Soup. 100,000 renminbi. Zhou Diyu just felt that at his age, he could still eat such delicious liver paste soup, which was so satisfying, that he had no regrets in his life, as he could enjoy such exquisite delicacy on his taste buds. He couldn't help but take 2 more bites, and then he noticed that at the door, the chefs of Mingji Hotel could hear the sound of saliva surging in their throats. Zhou Diyu put down the soup spoon in his hand with a smile, looked at the people at the door with gentle eyes, nodded slightly, and invited them to taste this unforgettable delicacy. With Zhou Diyu's permission, the chefs came forward one after another, everyone's face filled with excitement and anticipation. They each picked up a soup spoon and reached out impatiently to the bowl of liver paste soup with an enticing aroma. They carefully scooped up a spoonful and slowly put it into their mouths. At that moment, everyone's taste buds seemed to be awakened. They closed their eyes and savored the deliciousness and delicacy of the liver paste soup. The soft and delicate texture of the liver paste and the fresh and refreshing soup are intertwined, creating an intoxicating and wonderful flavor in the mouth, which is unforgettable and has endless aftertaste. Oh my goodness, is this liver paste soup? It smells terribly good and tastes so delicious. This liver paste is so delicious that it melts in your mouth. Master Su's knife skills are just amazing. I have been learning cooking for 40 years. How long will it take for me to have cooking skills of this level? It's so delicious. It's so refreshing and mellow. It hits your taste buds. It's absolutely top-notch deliciousness. I can't believe that if Master Su's liver paste soup is so delicious, what would it taste like if he made state banquet-level dishes? I understand. Master Su must be the god of cookery, as everyone couldn't stop praising it. Even Han Dong couldn't help but go up and try it. Just this one bite was enough to hook his soul. This taste. Even his master can't make it this delicious. Is this guy really a human chef? The ingredients used are obviously normal. Even if it is some fine sand pork liver, it can't be so delicious, right? The kind that even makes you swallow your tongue. Although Han Dongye was still full of hostility towards Su Yang at this moment, he was still very convinced in his heart. Comparing this liver paste soup with the one I made, mine is indeed not even worthy of being tasted. The liver paste soup was eaten up in a flash, and by the time Xiao Feifei and Feng Xiaoya returned to the kitchen, all the liver paste soup had been eaten up. Feng Xiaoya felt extremely regretful. She had been craving for it for a long time and wanted to come back quickly to have a bite. Wow! In the end, not a single bite was left. In addition to feeling regretful for not being able to eat the top-quality liver paste soup, Xiao Feifei also felt a little heartbroken. Su Yang spent 300,000 yuan on these 3 servings of liver paste soup. In other words, 1 serving costs 100,000 renminbi. It's okay for Mr. Zhou. He does have the qualifications. But what about the other chefs in the kitchen? No matter what, you should leave 1 bowl for yourself, right? Deduct wages. Deduct all wages. Su Yang was already riding his electric 3-wheeled motorcycle leisurely back to his small yard. Just now in the hotel kitchen, he tasted a few mouthfuls of the liver paste soup he made himself, and it tasted really great. Even he couldn't help but take several gulps. By the time I got home, it was already 4:30. The little guy's kindergarten is almost over. Originally, Su Yang was considering not setting it up this afternoon. Anyway, I have already earned 30,000. But when I opened my phone, I saw that all of Su Yang's food fans in the Penguin Food Group were already starving. There were even some funny pictures in the group, and everyone was protesting strongly. Why didn't Su Yang set up the stall today? After seeing this, Su Yang just thought it was a little funny. Thinking that there was still some time, he decided to put it there for a while. Anyway, he had nothing else to do for the time being. After posting the announcement in the group, Su Yang brought the prepared food and came to the classic pedestrian street square. At this moment, near the square, there were already countless little foreigners waiting in advance. Su Yang didn't know that these people had been waiting since 2 p.m. in the afternoon. I braved the scorching sun just to have a taste of the delicious food made by Su Yang. It's Boss Su. Boss Su finally showed up. Don't move, Boss Su. We are here to help you. Wow, I can finally eat something delicious. In the square, everyone was so happy that they cried and almost burst into tears. Their wait was so painful. I almost gave up, thinking Su Yang would not come. Su Yang smiled and set up his stall. Right now, this corner of the Nanjing Road pedestrian street square has become the liveliest place on the entire pedestrian street because of Su Yang's appearance. The street vendors are extremely lively. Of course, the booth fees will naturally increase as a result. But Su Yang is different. Not only does he not have to pay the stall fee, the management here even specially allocated a stall location for Su Yang. The meaning of the above is very simple. As long as Boss Su is willing to give you face, you can put the display up for free as long as you want. Su Yang was naturally happy about this. It's a win-win-win situation. First of all, Su Yang not only got a legal location to set up a stall for a long time, but also did not have to pay any fees. Secondly, for other vendors, although the stall fee here is a little expensive, it is at least much cheaper than the central area of the pedestrian street. Moreover, the flow of people is not less because of Su Yang. This is simply a holy place for stalls. Thirdly, for the person in charge of the pedestrian street, this place was originally a remote part of the pedestrian street, and there was not much traffic. Now with the appearance of Su Yang, not only did it solve the problem of traffic, but it also increased the stall owner's stall fee for free, which was simply a huge profit. They just want Su Yang to set up a stall here all day long. If possible, they would even give Su Yang money. Naturally, Su Yang was not willing to do this. If he accepted the money, he would be locked in to set up a stall here in the future. He still prefers to set up the stall wherever the opportunity arises. As Su Yang's stall was opened, the queue of people instantly formed a long queue. Although Su Yang opened his stall late today, the number of people lining up not only did not decrease, but instead became even larger. Many passersby who came to the pedestrian street for the first time were stunned. What the hell is going on? Is some big star coming to the pedestrian street for a fan meeting? Why is it so lively here? Hey man, you don't know this? Boss Su is always setting up a stall. Boss Su. The passerby looked confused. You look like you're new here, so hurry up and get in line. There will be more people soon, and you'll regret it later. That's right, what big star? Can that be compared to one finger of Boss Su? No, I'm a little hungry now. I've been waiting for a whole afternoon and a whole afternoon, and I've been waiting for Su Yang to come over. Chapter 189, Where are the people? Why are they all gone? Amid the eager gazes of countless people queuing up, Su Yang finally set up his stall. What? Boss Su, this fried beef noodles is limited in quantity. Green bean smoothie is also limited. Wow, why is life so difficult? Many customers who were planning to buy more food to take home as midnight snacks looked frustrated. I didn't expect that everything Su Yang sells is now limited in quantity, leaving me no chance to take advantage of any loopholes. Here, Su Yang started to stir-fry beef noodles and twice-cooked pork. Because there were so many customers, Su Yang changed to a new pot. Now, he can make at least 5 servings of fried beef noodles with one pot. Twice-cooked pork can be made into 3 portions at a time. Even so, I'm still very busy. The customers in the queue are quite conscientious, and there is no need to worry about anything. After ordering the food they wanted, they were quite conscientious and took out the calculator on their mobile phones to calculate how much it would cost. The people in the queue would supervise each other, fearing that Su Yang would suffer a loss. After all, if Su Yang gets unhappy and he stops setting up the stall, what will everyone eat? After Su Yang finished cooking the first pot of beef noodles, he sold 4 servings and kept one for himself. Just when everyone was confused, Su Yang picked up the fried beef noodles and spoke. Sorry, I haven't had lunch yet. Give me a few minutes. What? Boss Su hasn't had lunch yet. Boss Su must have been preparing delicious food for us, so he didn't have time to eat lunch. Yes, there are hundreds of ingredients every time. Others are at least run by couples, but Boss Su is alone and usually has to take care of the children. How about I marry Boss Su? Then I can help Boss Su set up a stall. You? You wish. Could you please take care of your body? Boss Su, if it really doesn't work, you can just raise the price a bit. This is too hard. You have to take care of your health. Yes, health is the most important thing. Let's eat the delicious food you cook for the rest of our lives. When did Boss Su agree? You old man, you took the opportunity to rely on Boss Su, didn't you? But if Boss Su can really cook delicious food for everyone for a lifetime, I can't even imagine it. The people in the queue did not rush Su Yang, but instead waited patiently for Su Yang to finish eating. After all, we have been waiting for a whole afternoon, so we don't mind a little bit of time. There were even some young ladies in the queue who directly took out the fruit snacks they had brought and handed them to Su Yang. These were originally intended to bribe the little guy, Sui Noa. In their opinion, as long as they get the little guy's approval, wouldn't it be easy to win over Su Yang? Right now, it would be better if I could give it directly to Su Yang. But after the first young lady did this, the other young ladies couldn't stand it anymore and stepped forward one after another. For a moment, Su Yang was like an ancient emperor, surrounded by concubines who were begging to sleep with him at night. This made him quite embarrassed. Soon, Su Yang finished the fried beef noodles in his hand and drank half a cup of mung bean shaved ice to relieve the greasiness. Now he felt that he had recovered, and it was simply great. However, the young ladies who surrounded him were holding fruit snacks in their hands and looking at Su Yang with anticipation. Su Yang was also helpless. He didn't dare to eat a single bite. If one of them is eaten, wouldn't the other one be anxious? If everyone takes a bite, he won't be able to finish it all. How about you leave it here first? I'll eat it after I finish setting up the stall. After hearing Su Yang's words, the young ladies reluctantly agreed. But when putting the food on Su Yang's dining cart, everyone couldn't help but wink at Su Yang. Some people even put the room cart on top together with the snacks. Su Yang was slightly stunned and had to pretend not to see it. At night? He is not free at night. I have to pick up the little guy from school later. As Su Yang continued to set up his stall, the line started moving again. Boss Su, please give me 2 boxes of crystal cakes. My grandson loves to eat this the most. I want a plate of fried beef noodles and green bean shaved ice. On the pedestrian street square, the team was like a long dragon, looking terrifyingly huge. Although the line was long, Su Yang cooked quite quickly. This also meant that no one in the queue complained. They all just felt sorry for Boss Su. But no matter how sad I am, Boss Su, you must not fail to set up your stall. I watched customers leave with satisfaction, carrying the delicious food they bought. However, at a glance, the length of the line has not changed at all. New and old customers continue to join the queue. The whole square is as lively as a temple fair. The stall owner next to Su Yang was so happy. All this traffic came for Su Yang. But if only 1 out of 10 people buys their stuff, they will already make a lot of money. Moreover, they want to sell the things they sell at their stalls better. Even the things sold are carefully selected and will never be the same as Su Yang's. Soon, the number of customers in the remote corner of the square on the pedestrian street surpassed that in the central area. If this had happened in the past, no one would have dared to believe it. But all this is happening right in front of us. It's really lively. There are also many first-timers who come here out of curiosity and then are introduced to the store by Su Yang's old customers. As for those foreign tourists, not to mention, for them, it doesn't matter what the authentic food in Shanghai is. All they know is that the more people there are, the longer the queue will be, and that the food must be a local specialty of Shanghai. Right now, Boss Su's stall is definitely the iconic food of Shanghai. Su Yang's stall is very busy, but the stalls in the center of the pedestrian street are terrible. The news about Su Yang's stall has spread to the center of the pedestrian street. Boss Su, the one promoted on Douyin? I want to eat it so much. You're the one who made the kindergarten kids cry because of your envy, right? That's so mean. I'm going to seek justice for those kids. Oh, I really didn't go there to eat Boss Su's food, believe me. The stall owners and shop owners here are really getting a little impatient. Originally, the flow of people in the central area was still good. But in the blink of an eye, it's all gone. There were only 3 or 5 guests left that could be seen with the naked eye. But the problem was that these 3 or 5 guests were also preparing to go to the square outside to see what was going on. No, my pot cakes are already baking. You can't just leave like this. Takoyaki, there's a big sale today. Come buy some. Spicy grilled gluten. 3 yuan a skewer. 10 yuan for 3 skewers. Chapter 190, I am a principled person, and fairness is my main concern. Seeing that the remaining 3 or 5 customers all ran away, these bosses became a little impatient. The owner of a shop selling spicy roasted pigs trotters simply put down the iron rack with a depressed expression on his face. What's the origin of this Mr. Su? Ever since he came to our stall every afternoon, we've had no business. Brother Wang, who says it's not true. Even though he only sells for an hour or two, I can see that the business of the street vendors over there is getting better and better. The rent here is much more expensive than theirs. Hey, I really can't stand it anymore. What's going on? The two were chatting and complaining when owners of other stores also came over. They also had some complaints about Su Yang's appearance. But is there any way? They're also doing a legitimate business. A serious business? Who knows if the food he sells is mixed with any technology and hard work? This isn't everyone involved? Ahem, Lao Ming, please step aside. Don't say anything that is not conducive to unity. How can the food we sell be technologically advanced? I just went over there to take a look. You know what? The number of people lining up there is so outrageous that I've never seen anything like it in my life. We can't stand this, we can't stand this. We have to find a manager and get rid of that guy today. That's right, let's find management. If that guy doesn't get out of here, how can we continue our business? With many shop owners joining in, the crowd's emotions were aroused, and they all went to find the management of the pedestrian street, cursing. No, why is the business over there so good, but the rent is less than 1/5 of what we have here? They pay huge rents every year, and most of the profits are taken away by the management. Now that business is being snatched away, you're just playing dead and doing nothing. A group of people went to the management office in a mighty manner. As soon as they opened the door, they smelled a strong fragrance. This smell, why does it sound a little familiar? A few people pushed open the door and walked in, and saw the manager inside the room eating fried beef noodles and slurping iced mung bean soup. The expression on his face is so enjoyable. Seeing a large group of people suddenly rushing in at the door, the leader was quite calm. He took a bite of the fried beef noodles before speaking lightly. Boss, what are you doing here? It's not time to pay the booth fee yet. Everyone looked at the leader in front of them. No wonder they said he was a leader. He was definitely an expert at pretending to be ignorant while knowing the truth. Why are we here? Don't you know? How dare you ask for booth fees? Brother Lee, isn't there a new guy selling fried beef noodles on our pedestrian street? I just want to ask. Ask? What the hell? The representative shop owner was interrupted by the leader before he could finish his words. They're a legitimate business, and they pay booth fees just like you. Why? Are you jealous of others' good business? Let me tell you, your stall is in the most prime location on our pedestrian street. If you can't even do this, you should think more about your own problems. Hearing Brother Lee's ruthless words, the bosses looked at each other in bewilderment. For a moment, no one knew how to continue speaking. Although to be honest, I am definitely not satisfied with Brother Lee. However, there is nothing you can do as your life is in the hands of the other party. And there was nothing wrong with what he said. Although the rents paid by these shop owners are shockingly high, they do have a lot of traffic and make a tidy profit every year. Although Su Yang has appeared now, it only has a slight impact. In fact, it's not particularly big. After all, Su Yang only sets up the stall for less than 2 hours a day. The most important thing is that everyone has seen that Brother Lee is obviously on the side of that boss Su. The fried beef noodles and mung bean shaved ice on the table had already betrayed him. Is that thing really that delicious? Normally, they remembered that the secretary should be in Brother Lee's office. But today, Brother Lee made fried beef noodles? This is outrageous. Brother Lee, our rent. Let's be fair, I've already given you the lowest rent. Why do you think it's expensive? Brother Lee took a sip of the mung bean shaved ice. Then his face changed, and he spoke with a slightly unfriendly tone. Don't you think about it? The competition for stalls in the prime location of our pedestrian street is so fierce. If I hadn't considered our friendship over the years, could I have rented the stall to you every year? Do you know that the number of people who line up to give me gifts every year can stretch from here to the Great Wall? But I am a principled person. I didn't accept their bribes. My main goal is to be fair and just. Fair. Do you understand? Brotherly became more and more excited as he spoke, shocking the bosses in front of him. Seeing that the time was almost right, he changed the subject and spoke again. Actually, I'm not afraid to tell you the truth. That boss Sue is just a means for the higher-ups to attract customers. When we have gained enough popularity, we will kick him out. Won't all these new customers belong to you by then? After hearing Brother Lee's words, everyone suddenly felt enlightened. So this is what the leaders above think. Why didn't you say it earlier? Isn't this a misunderstanding of the leaders' good intentions? All the bosses smiled, and many of them took out the expensive cigarettes they had prepared from their pockets and handed them over without saying a word. Brotherly was also very clear and recruited them all. Okay, if you have nothing else to do, go back. You will earn a lot in the future. Thank you, Brotherly. I told you Brotherly is a fair person. Brotherly, I'd like to treat you to a meal later this evening. After a round of flattery, everyone finally left. Brotherly sat at the desk in the office and watched the backs of everyone leaving. Only after he made sure the door was closed did his expression change slightly. The idea of the senior leader above is indeed to rely on the guy named Sue to attract traffic. But kick him away? Huh? Brotherly smiled coldly. He knew it very well in his mind. Given Su Yang's popularity, the senior leaders above him wished that Su Yang could move directly to the central area of the pedestrian street and set up a stall 24 hours a day. Kick him out? Only a fool would do such a thing. What I just said were just words used to appease those people. Brotherly leaned back in the sofa chair with his hands on top of his head. Then he glanced under the desk and smiled with enjoyment. Baby, be gentle. Chapter 191, My Pancake Oil? My pancake oil? Beef naan, special offer today, buy 2, get 1 free. A group of merchants returned to their own shops, knowing full well that the management would not step into deal with Su Yang for the time being. You have to rely on yourself for everything. As for going directly to Su Yang and asking him to get out, this plan has not been thought of in my mind. Just by seeing the huge crowds of people queuing from afar, they knew it clearly. There's no chance of getting Su Yang away by brute force. Those people in the queue were spitting at by the spitters, which would not only drown them, but also make them unable to bear it. Besides, wouldn't this put them at odds with the guests? They won't do stupid things that are thankless. After everyone discussed it, they decided to resort to a classic price war. From now on, whenever Su Yang comes to set up the stall in the afternoon, they will reduce the price for a limited time. I don't believe that there will be no guests coming. However, the bloody reality is there really were no customers coming. There were many customers passing by here, but no one stopped. They all walked out to the pedestrian street. The owner of the beef pancake shop became anxious. Young man, what are you in such a hurry for? Come and have a beef scones. They'll only cost $5 a piece today. How is it? A good deal, right? When the passerby heard the boss's voice, he finally stopped and took a look. Then his brows quickly frowned. Vomit. It smells so bad. Your beef naan is so greasy, it makes me sick. Hearing what the other party said, the owner of the beef pancake was about to curse. No, young man, you can choose not to buy it. But isn't it a bit unkind of you to lie with your eyes open? Is this my cake oil? Is this my cake oil? The beef naan owner went over to his own naan stall and took a sniff. Vomit. There really is a bit of oil. But what's wrong with that? This proves that my scones are authentic. Hey boy, smell my delicious scones. Fragrant. The young man grinned, revealing his snow-white teeth. Then he opened the bag in his hand and found a package box inside. As the box was opened, what came out was the fried beef noodles made by Su Yang. You should smell the delicious food they made. See what oily but not greasy means. What is the aroma? As the boss, you still have a lot to learn about food. Not even a dog can eat something this greasy. The owner of the beef pancake shop was speechless. My own scones were insulted by the other party? The key point is that after he smelled the aroma of the fried beef noodles in the other person's hand, the words of rebuttal came to his lips, but he swallowed them back. It smells so good. It smells so damn good. Even from a distance, you can smell the irresistible aroma of each other's fried beef noodles. The most important thing is, just as this young man said, it's not greasy at all. He even had the urge to have a bite. Seeing the saliva welling up in the throat of the beef scones owner, the young man quickly closed the box. If you want to eat, go line up outside at the intersection. But there are so many people now, it will probably take more than an hour for your turn. The owner of the beef pancake shop was silent and could not say a word. He could only watch the young man in front of him leave. It's so frustrating. He has been making beef pancakes for all these years, but he has never felt so frustrated. I think he has opened a shop on this pedestrian street for more than 10 years. Who said it wasn't delicious after having tried it? The beef naan is so delicious that it makes your mouth water. However, this thing is afraid of comparison. Although Su Yang did not sell beef scones, he did raise everyone's threshold for delicious food. It directly makes everyone's taste buds become more discerning. It is easy to go from frugality to extravagance, but it is difficult to go from extravagance to frug. This principle couldn't be simpler. After trying Su Yang's delicious dish, even the smell of this beef patty makes me feel it's too greasy. The taste is purely made from industrial waste and is not healthy at all. In fact, the owner of the beef pancake shop located in the center of the pedestrian street is not the only one who has encountered this situation. Several other shop owners who lowered their prices had the same experience. The price has been reduced, and they even give away all kinds of snacks and drinks. But the problem is, there is still absolutely no one. They all have some jade. On weekdays, there are some promotional tactics that appear to be price cuts, but are actually bundled sales that make customers spend more money. Such schemes can make huge profits. Just like the current Double 11 event, JD, even dogs won't buy it. But this time, everyone finally spoke of conscience for a while. It is a complete welfare and real discount. Some people even grit their teeth and simply don't make any money, holding the determination that the key is to attract some customers first. However, still no one stayed. The bosses looked at each other with confusion and helplessness in their eyes. No, are the young people nowadays not very smart? The things here are so cheap. Why don't you come and buy them? Why do you have to queue for an hour? What is queuing popular these days? I can't figure it out. I really can't figure it out. Handsome guy and beautiful girl. How about some Jingzhou spicy hot pot? The line at the intersection is very long now, conservatively estimated to be more than an hour. Why not come to my place and have some spicy hot pot? The boss of the Jingzhou Malatang restaurant has gone all out. No matter what, he has to at least attract some people to the store and create the impression that people are consuming. Otherwise, more people would not even go in. However, the couple in front of him walked past in a hurry and even turned back with a not very good look on their faces. Boss, if your spicy hot pot tastes half as good as Boss Sue's, would I still need a queue over there? The suffocating question made the Malatang boss remain silent. Good man, I'm the one who harmed you. That's right, boss. You have nothing to do anyway. Why don't you go to Boss Sue's place and queue up to buy some food and experience what real food is? Does your spicy hot pot have any technical content? The price is ridiculous now. Look at Boss Sue. A serving of royal chicken wings is only over $20. Your spicy hot pot costs over 40 or 50 yuan at any time, and you still can't get full. Their chicken wings are so soft and boneless, with a hint of lychee sweetness. When you eat them, you can even taste the lingering aroma of wine, the kind that you can savor for a long time. Look at you now. There's no taste at all. I've been wanting to complain for a long time. It's clearly spicy hot pot, but it's more expensive than other hot pots. The number of things that are strung together on each signature is decreasing. You really dare to sell it. Is it not an exaggeration to call you a spicy, hot pot assassin? The Malatang boss stood there in a daze. The other party's words were extremely sharp. Every word made him blush. Under normal circumstances, he would certainly not have such a reaction, and might even curse at the other party, saying directly that the other party is poor and shouldn't eat if he doesn't have money. But things are different now. Without customers, he as a boss is nothing. Has it turned out that everyone has been complaining about this spicy hot pot restaurant to this extent? The boss fell in a deep thought. He didn't expect that after becoming the ice cream assassin, he also became the Malatang assassin. It seems that I still need to improve my taste in the future. Chapter 192. Don't worry. We'll leave after we finish eating. The owner of the Malatang restaurant and the owner of the beef pancake restaurant looked at each other, and the sigh in their eyes was needless to say. Both of them had just been taught a lesson mercilessly by the customers. Who can understand that kind of helplessness and sadness? Could it be that my craftsmanship and taste are really not good enough? Was it selling well in the past purely because of its geographical location? The Malatang boss sighed. Apart from this reason, there seemed to be no other reason. How else to explain it? Several stores nearby are not only offering discounts, they are even offering sales so high that even if you break bones, no customers are coming. There's only one reason, that is, the food everyone makes is really not delicious. It's not even 1/10 the taste of Boss Sue's. No, it should be said 1/100th is more appropriate. In the past, there wasn't such fierce competition, so naturally customers just came to try the new food. For example, being able to eat beef pancakes and Jingzhou spicy hot pot in Shanghai is a different experience. But without this sense of novelty, it is really worthless. Seeing that no one came for a long time, more than a dozen pedestrians hurried past the street corner. All the bosses are suffering. I feel like I might as well just close the stall and take a nap in the afternoon from now on. There is no competitiveness at all in competing with Su Yang. Just when everyone was in despair, several people suddenly walked over from the intersection in the distance. And it even went straight towards the nearby shops. What happened? They finally figured it out. Right, anyway, we just come out to eat something to fill our stomachs, so why bother waiting in such a long line? No matter how delicious Boss Su's food is, it is not ginseng fruit. The bosses were ecstatic. This was a good sign. Looks like it will be open soon. As long as we have this first batch of customers coming back, won't the rest follow quickly? People are like this. They like to gather in groups. If the store is deserted, no matter how delicious the food you make is, people will think it is not tasty. On the contrary, if the store is packed with people, no matter how bad your food is or how bad your service attitude is, people will still bite the bullet and pretend that it's delicious. Even, come again next time. I saw several bosses with happy expressions on their faces, ready to welcome us. However, several customers who came here were instantly driven into despair by just the first sentence. Boss, your seat is empty. Can you lend it to us to eat? Don't worry, we'll leave right after we finish eating. Several bosses fell silent again. Damn it, killing people and destroying their hearts. Killing people and destroying their hearts. Wow, I thought everyone had finally figured it out and turned back. It turned out that there were too many people queuing there, and they couldn't find a place to eat. There is no place to squat and eat. Only then did they walk inside and prepare to eat in the empty shop. What else can these bosses say? Drive them away. Well then, we've completely offended these customers, and they won't come here again in the future. Everyone could only grit their teeth and force a smile. It's okay, just sit down and eat. You can sit as long as you want. Boss, you are so nice. How about this? Give us 3 bottles of drinks. Originally, the Malatang boss always spoke with gritted teeth. But when he heard the other party quickly ordered Waha mineral water after sitting down, he immediately smiled from the bottom of his heart. Who said there is no business? Isn't this business coming? 3 bottles of Waha mineral water. Look at him. He ordered 3 bottles right away. The Malatang boss even straightened his back when he looked at the beef pancake shop owner. At this moment, the owner of the beef pancake shop was full of envy. Now I can only blame myself for having a shop that is too far in the middle. I used to think that my store had the best location. Located in the most central area of the pedestrian street, it has more traffic than other stores. But now he understood, what's the point of staying here? It is obvious that the closer to the intersection of the pedestrian street, the better the location of Boss Su's shop is. When these customers sat down and opened the boxes of fried beef noodles and twice-cooked pork in their hands, that familiar aroma wafted out again. Even the boss himself couldn't help swallowing. No, I can't smell it. If I continue to smell it, I won't be able to control myself. Even the boss didn't dare to look at it, for fear that he would not be able to handle it. He decisively took out his mobile phone and started to browse Douyin to divert his attention. But I never expected that I would see quite a few videos related to Su Yang's fried beef noodles in my Douyin videos. These were all taken by internet celebrities and netizens. Su Yang was shown cooking beef noodles and twice-cooked pork on the spot, and even shared the delicious taste of his new Imperial Concubine chicken wings. I'm really impressed. Is the whole world filled with that boss, Su? Why do I feel like I'm surrounded by that guy selling fried beef noodles? It's driving me crazy. As several guests started to show off, it was just like going to a war. It's like he just got out of prison. If you don't know, you would think he hasn't eaten for several days. After a few people finished eating, "Boss, we didn't touch the water on the table, so we don't want it." As the 3 young men left, a table full of messy lunchboxes was left behind. Suddenly, the Malatang boss felt a little annoyed. This is too much. This is too much. The Malatang boss stood up immediately. His anger was almost written all over his face. It can be said that this was the last straw that completely enraged him. Seeing this, the owners of other shops also stepped forward one after another. No, we still have to talk to the administrator. Yes, no matter what the plans of the leaders above are, if we continue like this, I don't know if we can attract more people, but the taste of the customers will definitely become more discerning. If you endure for a moment, you will die. At worst, we can all quit the lease collectively and see if the administrator is afraid. Yes, 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 we can't be fooled by the administrator's big cake this time. The owners of various shops once again came to the office of the pedestrian street manager in a grand manner. This time, they were determined that no matter what the administrator brotherly said, they had to resolutely drive away the man named Sue. However, I never expected. The office door was locked. Even the lights were turned off. No, you got off work so early? Damn it, he must have run away early. What a bastard. The phone call is not working either. What should we do now? We can't just let it go, right? Look, Lao Yang, you sell cold noodles, and you're the biggest competitor to the fried beef noodles. We'll do whatever you tell us to do. Lao Yang was a little confused. No, this hot potato was just handed to him like this. It is definitely not an option to just destroy the place. Not only will you offend your superiors, but you will also offend all the customers. How about we go try his fried beef noodles? Sun Tzu's Art of War says it well. If you know yourself and your enemy, you will win every battle. You are awesome, Lao Yang. You are a cold noodle seller, and you are interested in the art of war. What? Only the fish seller is allowed to watch, but the cold noodle seller is not allowed to watch. Chapter 193, Is There Any Justice in the World? I think this is a good idea. There are so many of us, so we can each buy one. After tasting it, everyone will say it's not tasty, not delicious. With so many customers lining up, no one would believe me if I said it wasn't delicious. Well, you can just say that there are ingredients in it that you are allergic to and just pretend to be sick and have convulsions. This method seems to be okay. After several bosses discussed it, they went straight to where Su Yang set up his stall with full confidence. Just a glance, there was a team of hundreds of people, and it felt like there was no end in sight. If they start queuing now, when will it be their turn? I say, this line will take at least an hour, right? I think it's hanging. Hey, brother, you bought 3 servings of fried beef noodles. Why don't you sell me one? I can pay double the price. Double the price? Are you kidding me? Why? Is it too much? Huh? I didn't sell it to you even though they offered 5 times the price. And you're offering 3 times the price. Get out of here. Originally, one of the bosses was thinking of buying a copy from someone who had already bought it. In the end, I offered double the price. But not only did the other party not be satisfied, I was ridiculed instead. 5 times the price. That means a serving of fried beef noodles can be sold for 60 yuan. This is too exaggerated. The point is, this person won't even sell it for 5 times the price. 3 servings of fried beef noodles. All for me to enjoy alone. What else can I say? The bosses looked at each other and could only sigh at the same time. But the more this happened, the more they wanted to know how delicious the food cooked by Boss Sue was. Forget it, just stand in line. Just queue up. There's not much business in the store anyway, so I don't care. As several bosses started queuing, I thought it would take at least an hour. They didn't expect Su Yang to cook so quickly. It was their turn in just over half an hour. It's incredible. Boss, I want 3 servings of chicken tofu. As the Malatang boss, who was at the front of the line, placed his order, Su Yang just raised his head slightly and then pointed at the board standing in front of him. Sorry, many items are currently subject to purchase restrictions. What? Purchase restrictions? Oh my god. What is this operation? Does this Sue really know how to run a business? A street vendor is using hunger marketing. No, that's it. Do those customers also spoil him? After hearing Su Yang's words, several shop owners found it unbelievable and even quite dissatisfied. Of course they know about the purchase restrictions, but I have never heard of that street stalls have purchase limits. Shouldn't these street vendors be eager to sell more of their products? Why are you not happy when others have bought it? Several bosses were still confused, and the people queuing behind them were already becoming unhappy. They urged one after another. What are you guys doing? Can you please stop dithering? Are you going to buy it or not? There are so many people queuing behind you. That's right, can you do it faster? Boss Sue's name is clearly written on his sign. Don't you know how to read? The customers queuing behind couldn't stand it at all. I finally got in line in front of Boss Sue, but why are the people in front of me so hesitant? A grown man is still so hesitant when buying things? Especially since he just opened his mouth and asked for 3 servings of chicken tofu and 5 servings of jiuwei twice-cooked pork. You guys have bought all the damn things. What are you going to eat? When facing such a person, we will naturally not be polite at all. He started to argue directly. If it weren't for Su Yang's sake, he would even ask about the other person's family. The customers queuing behind him were becoming more and more dissatisfied, and several shop owners quickly followed the purchase limit board put out by Su Yang and started ordering frantically. But what was strange was that after they ordered, Su-young did not move. Normally, Su-young should start cooking the beef noodles first. What happened? Did he discover that we were strong competitors? Feeling a little apprehensive, I didn't expect that Boss Su is still very vigilant. Just as several people were fantasizing, Su-young spoke with a slightly apologetic tone. My dear guests, it's already 5:15, and my daughter will be out of school soon. Excuse me, please wait. I have to pick up my daughter. It won't take too long, at most 20 minutes. Several shop owners had question marks on their faces. No, Boss Su, it's okay that the things you sell at your stall are limited in quantity. I still have half of this sold out to pick up my daughter from school. Especially with so many people around, the Malatang boss looked behind him. There were at least 70 or 80 people waiting at the end of the line. In other words, there are dozens of people here waiting for you to pick up your daughter. This can't be said to be outrageous, but it can also be said to be too damn bizarre. Can't you let your daughter wait in the kindergarten? Anyway, there are teachers watching her, and nothing unexpected will happen. However, Su-young expressed the answer with his actions. Nothing can stop him from picking up the little one from school on time. Even the customers in the queue said that Boss Su should go pick up his daughter first, and it would be okay for everyone to wait. Several shop owners were even more stunned. Especially the boss of Malatang was puzzled. No, brothers, this is not the way to play it, right? I was just a little slow in choosing the food just now, but the people behind me are trying to get me back. Now Boss Su is on strike to pick up his daughter, and you all say you are willing to wait? This is too double standard. What surprised the Malatang owner even more was that because Su Yang's food truck was there, he could only walk to the kindergarten. Among the customers queuing, many of them took the initiative to ask Su Yang to drive his own car. Several shop owners took a quick look and saw that the worst car among them was the Don't Touch Me X5. No! The Malatang boss felt that his brain was so hot that it was about to crash. Is there any justice in the world? These big bosses, driving such nice cars, come out to queue up to eat at street stalls. Especially, they let this Su guy do whatever he wants. You guys are a bit too careless. Isn't it said that customers are king? Why is it the other way around here? Does that mean you can do whatever you want just because the food you make is delicious? The Malatang boss really couldn't understand it at all. But this is normal because the food he cooks is not very tasty. How can I personally experience how Su Yang is treated? Sorry, as long as the food is delicious enough, you can do whatever you want. Chapter 194, it smells so good. I can't resist it for a moment. Soon, Su Yang came back in a BMW X5 with the little boy Su Inua. The little guy said sweetly as he handed the car keys back. Thank you for the car, uncle. I'll give you an extra crystal cake later. Thank you, cutie. BMW owners are also very happy. He had always liked the little cutie Nua Nua, and he was so obsessed with Boss Su's delicious food that he couldn't sleep if he didn't eat it for a day. Now, he could actually get an extra box of crystal cake for himself. He felt like he was making a fortune. The other customers who were a little slow in taking out their car keys were all envious. They also want to talk to the cute little guy Su Inua and want to get an extra piece of crystal cake. It can be seen that the little guy Su Inua is in a good mood today. He jumps all the way and seems very happy. Papa, why are there still so many people queuing? The little guy came to the dining car, stood on a small stool, and looked up at the line behind him. It seemed like there was no end in sight. When Su Yang left, there were about 70 or 80 people left. But during the time I was away, the number of people at least doubled. Even at the end of the line, the number of people was still increasing. There is no way. It is already past 5 o'clock. Some workers who normally get off work have already finished their day's work and rushed over the moment they received the news from the Penguin Food Group. Boss Su's little cutie is done with school, so I'll give you an apple. No, little cutie. Annie has some chocolates here. Sister has some white rabbit candy, bought especially for you. Oh, you can give it to your dad too. The little guy Su Inua appeared and quickly attracted a large crowd of people. They all took the initiative to feed the little guy. Nuonyo himself likes it this way. There is always something delicious and different every day. But Dad Su Yang is very strict. For example, candy and chocolate are strictly controlled. I'm afraid the little one will get cavities. Even fruit can't be eaten too much. However, she indeed hadn't eaten white rabbit milk candy for a long time. Reaching out to take it, Su Inua smiled and thanked. The little guy was so happy to see a handful of white rabbit milk candies. No, you are only allowed to eat 2. When Su Yang's words came over, the little guy instantly became depressed. She could only return the handful of candy to her sister in front of her, but her eyes still revealed a look of reluctance. Boss Sue, these candies my teeth are hurting lately, so I can't eat them. The young lady understood the meaning from Nua's pleading eyes, so she made an excuse to Su Yang. Look, Papa, her sister can't eat them all. How pitiful. These candies can't be wasted. Only we can help her. Su Inua immediately spoke up and took over the topic, but her little thoughts were clearly known to everyone. Everyone around started laughing. Su Yang also smiled helplessly and reached out to pinch Nua's fair and tender little face. Then he put all the white rabbit candies into his pocket. The little guy had a very happy look on his face. It would be easy in Papa's pocket. He could eat it himself anyway. Su Yang and Su Ina are interacting with customers. The shop owner, who had been waiting in the front row for half a day, began to doubt his life. No, you've already taken the doll. Can you start cooking? Are you still going to run this stall? Can you have some professional ethics? Will he set up a street stall? The Malatang boss was about to lose his temper as he had been waiting for quite a while. Boss Sue, can you please hurry up? We have things to do. That's right, if you want to set up a stall, just do it properly. You've wasted so much time. Several people seized the opportunity and started attacking Su Yang. Before Su Yang opened his mouth, the little guy already looked aggrieved and as if he was about to cry. Sorry, uncles. I kept you waiting for so long. It took Papa a long time to pick me up from school. Papa is so tired taking care of me alone. Please don't blame Papa. Seeing the little guy looking so pitiful, several shop owners were also stunned. No. Seeing Su Inua like this, who would have the heart to say no again? Even the customers behind him couldn't help but speak up for Su Yang. You guys have been making a fuss since just now. Are you here to buy something? Boss Su is raising a child by himself, so what's wrong with picking up a child from school? I'm warning you, if you stop setting up the stall because your boss Su is angry, I will never forgive you. You actually spoke to a 3-year-old child like this. Don't you feel guilty? Faced with the public's anger, the pressure on several shop owners instantly doubled. Fortunately, they changed their clothes before coming. If they were recognized as the owners of the shop inside, their business would be completely ruined. I was indeed a little excited just now, so I couldn't control my emotions. What you said was not very nice. But they're not targeting children at all. Several people couldn't help but take a look at the little guy, Su Inua. This seemingly harmless little cutie is actually a little devil. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. I remember you guys were all together, right? 3 servings of stir-fried beef noodles, 2 servings of twice-cooked pork, and chicken tofu pudding. Su Yang was quite calm. He turned on the fire, heated the pan, and started stir-frying the beef noodles. I saw with my own eyes Su Yang's skillful technique. It was clearly just stir-fried beef noodles, but his movements were so fast that it was dizzying. Although the shop owners sell different things, they all have some cooking experience. After seeing Su Yang's technique, everyone was stunned. The skill of flipping the spoon is obviously that of a master. In particular, Master Yang, who also makes fried noodles, had already discovered some details a long time ago. That is, every time Su Yang stir-fried beef noodles, he flipped the wok exactly 78 times. Definitely not one more, and definitely not one less. It's just like an AI machine, so accurate. Stir-fry over high heat and turn the pan frequently, otherwise it will get burnt. Only when stir-fried over medium heat can the fried beef noodles have the unique taste of being crispy, but not mushy. Master. Absolutely a master. Master Yang felt a lot of pressure just by looking at the food without eating a single bite. Drops of cold sweat dripped down his forehead. Faced with the stench of hot pot, several shop owners couldn't help swallowing their saliva. The nostrils are flaring, and I can't stop sniffing. It smells so good. It smells so damn good. Su Yang was preparing to pack the fried beef noodles into boxes. Several people couldn't wait to speak. No need to pack. Yes, we can just eat it directly from our hands. It smells so good. I just can't resist it for a moment. Chapter 195. No. How can we attack? Master Yang, look, this fried noodle spreads out easily with chopsticks. It's not greasy at all. That's right. It feels much better than what you cooked. That's right, Master Yang. I'm not saying you should learn from him. This is what we call fried noodles. Master Yang feels very sad. There is no harm without comparison. To be honest, his cooking skills for fried noodles and rice noodles are not that bad. But what can be done? Su Yang's level is just too high. Isn't the difference obvious from this comparison? Faced with the ridicule from other bosses, he couldn't even say anything back. Needless to say, the fried beef noodles in front of me, even if I haven't eaten it yet, just looking at it tastes much better than what I make myself. The other bosses naturally understood this as well. As they stood aside, they couldn't wait to taste it. In an instant, every taste bud on the tongue was completely amazed. This refreshing, tender, and crispy taste is something they have never tried before. It's so delicious. Master Yang, an expert in fried noodles and rice noodles, finally discovered it after tasting several bites in a row. The seasonings that Su Yang uses for stir-fried beef noodles, such as soy sauce, are all specially made. Adding this to the fried beef noodles will make the taste more layered. This is an insurmountable chasm. A bowl of fried beef noodles made him realize the difference between chefs. To be honest, Master Yang felt very uncomfortable. The things you are proud of are easily surpassed by others. This feeling is like you are reluctant to ride a bicycle, but someone else stands up and pedals it. Although the other bosses are not into fried noodles or rice noodles, their ideas are similar. No wonder everyone would rather queue for an hour to buy food here. No way, it's so delicious. Several people were shouting in delight at the delicious food, and suddenly someone reacted. That's not right. Didn't we agree on this before we came? I came here to buy food from Boss Sue, just to disgust him on purpose. We should deliberately say that each other's food tastes bad. How come we're starting to enjoy it now? The Malatang boss was the first to react. Brothers, are we saying that this fried beef noodles taste bad? Wouldn't this be a bad idea? Is there any reason? I really don't know from which angle to say that this fried beef noodles is unpalatable. You guys in the restaurant business, don't you know that? Why don't you just use the complaints others make about you to attack them? Several people discussed in a low voice for a long time, but no one was willing to be the first to step forward. The food Su Yang cooked was so delicious that they had to speak against their conscience. They really can't say it. Your twice-cooked pork is ready. Twice-cooked pork? Don't be impatient, brothers. Let's try this twice-cooked pork first to see if there are any flaws. Yes. Let's hold back on the stir-fried beef noodles and try this twice-cooked pork. I'm not saying anything, but my wife's twice-cooked pork is really delicious. I'm sure I can find the problem this time. Several people took the fried twice-cooked pork from Su Yang. Then each of them stretched out the chopsticks in their hands and put them into their mouths. In an instant, the wonderful taste fills the entire mouth. Rich and fresh, slightly spicy and numb, fatty but not greasy. Fuck, this twice-cooked pork is really fucking awesome. How is it? Is it not as good as what your wife made? It's damn delicious. The taste is rich, and every piece of meat is just the right amount of fat and lean. It's absolutely amazing. To be honest, it was so delicious that I almost bit my tongue. If you eat this twice-cooked pork in a special hotel, it will cost at least 128 yuan per serving. I've eaten that thing once, and it's not as delicious as this twice-cooked pork in front of me. It's no exaggeration to say that if you give me a bowl of rice noodles, I can finish 3 bowls of twice-cooked pork. Oh, sorry, it's so delicious, I said it the wrong way around. Give me a bowl of twice-cooked pork, and I can finish at least 3 bowls of rice. Although several shop owners were very unwilling, the feeling of happiness was real. They originally wanted to let Su Yang know the wickedness of human nature and deliberately framed him. However, a serving of fried beef noodles and a serving of twice-cooked pork will completely subdue them. As a grown man, I always fuck others, but this is the first time I've been fucked hard by someone else. Especially the kind that is wholeheartedly convinced. The movements of my hands simply cannot be stopped. Next, Su Yang handed over the prepared chicken tofu pudding, royal chicken wings, and crystal shrimp dumplings. Some of the bosses couldn't stop for a moment and were very busy talking. Every dish made by Su Yang is delicious to the extreme. After they finished eating, they wiped the greasy corners of their mouths, with an expression of being unsatisfied on their faces. They looked at each other, and without any hesitation, they came to the end of the line in tacit understanding and started the second round of queuing. They even said that they ate too fast and didn't have time to think. This time we are here to study the secrets of how Su Yang makes these things. As the saying goes, only by knowing yourself and your enemy can you win every battle. No, are you hungry? Su Yang was naturally unaware of the behavior of the bosses. I just felt a little strange looking at those people just now. But this is normal. Since Su Yang started setting up the stall, he has seen so many strange people every day. In comparison, having a few bosses is already quite normal. Su Yang asked the little guy sitting on the small stool. She is now enjoying the electric fan that Su Yang won in the lottery. The electric fans produced by the system are so efficient. Even though the temperature was very high due to the fire around us, the wind from the electric fan was still enough to make us feel extremely cool. It's like being outdoors with air conditioning. Su Inoa had just eaten a serving of crystal shrimp dumplings and drank a cup of mung bean smoothie. Among the snacks brought by the guests, the little guy also ate 2 bags of beef jerky and a bag of bear biscuits. I even ate 3 or 4 bananas and an apple. Logically speaking, I shouldn't be hungry for the time being. But after hearing Su Yang's words, the little guy blinked his bright eyes without hesitation. Hungry? Su Yang smiled and shook his head. He could see what the little guy was thinking at a glance. No. Are you greedy again? Why are you lying with your eyes open? He, no, can say it even with his eyes closed. The little girl stuck out her tongue mischievously. Su Yang saw through all her thoughts. I'm indeed hungry, but not very hungry. I just want to have some more of Su Yang's twice-cooked pork, and it would be even better with chicken tofu pudding. Oh, by the way, she hasn't had crystal cake for several hours. Su Inua touched his round belly and said that as long as it was delicious food made by Papa Su Yang, she would eat it. She can handle eating as much as she wants. Chapter 196, she used to beg me to wear it. But now she's pretending to be serious? At 7:30 in the evening, Su Yang finally finished his work and closed up the stall. All the food that I brought out has been consumed completely. You know, in order to cater to these guests, Su Yang prepared at least 300 servings of ingredients for each dish. But even so, there are still many customers who didn't get to eat it. There is no way. Firstly, this is a pedestrian street, and the flow of people is too large. There are many new customers who come to queue up after seeing the excitement. Secondly, there are also quite a few office workers among Su Yang's fan group. On weekdays, work requires overtime. Many times, when Su Yang closes his stall, some people have not even left work yet. Work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and enjoy the blessings. Su Yang roughly calculated today's income in his mind, 35,000 yuan. The system points are also 2,930 points. Of course, if the compensation of the little guy's mother, Xiao Feifei, is included, it would be even more. Su Yang was still very satisfied with these. He likes his current life very much and has more time to spend with the little one. At the same time, the delicious food he makes can also bring happiness to his customers who like him. After Su Yang packed up his stall, he planned to take the little guy back home. Tomorrow is Friday, and the little guy has to go to kindergarten. And, more importantly, what parent-child activities will the kindergarten hold tomorrow? In the past, Su Yang always went there alone. But this time, Xiao Feifei agreed for the first time to the little girl that she would come, too. Originally, Su Yang didn't want to have too much entanglement with Xiao Feifei. I helped her make liver paste soup today, and it just so happened that I knew how to make it, plus the reward was really tempting. If someone else came to Su Yang, he would agree too. Su Yang received a group message on his phone, so he opened it and took a look. It's in the little one's kindergarten group. Please all parents wear parent-child outfits when you come tomorrow. Su Yang was stunned for a moment. No, parent-child outfit? This is really a bit difficult to live with. He opened Xiao Feifei's WeChat and sent a message. You haven't forgotten about the kindergarten kids' activities tomorrow, have you? Xiao Feifei responded to the message quite quickly. It seemed that she was in a very good mood after resolving Boss Gao's issue today. I know. What's wrong? Teacher Zhang just said that we need to wear parent-child clothing when we go to school tomorrow. Parent-child outfit? In the office, Xiao Feifei blushed slightly, but she still pretended to be calm and typed. Did you buy it? I just received the notification. Where can I buy it? You didn't participate in the past either. Where are you now? It should still be in time to buy it now. Su Yang rode an electric 3-wheeled motorcycle and brought the little one back home. We had just started to clean up when Xiao Feifei arrived in her red Porsche. She was tall, with black hair draped over her shoulders, which was in sharp contrast to the tight red skirt she was wearing. The delicate facial features are like a perfect work of art, and the slender arms and calves exposed outside show large areas of dazzling white skin. Her slender, white legs are wearing a pair of red-soled high-heeled shoes, which highlight the graceful curve of her calves. Anyone who sees such a beauty will not be able to help but take a second look. Mom, you look so beautiful today. The little guy Su Inoa had already spotted Xiao Feifei and was trotting over to her. If you say that, then wasn't Mom beautiful before? Xiao Feifei is in a good mood today. With Boss Gao's investment, it can be said that there will be no major problems at the Xiao family hotel, at least for now. They are all beautiful. Mom is beautiful every day. The little guy was very sweet-mouthed and took the initiative to hold Xiao Feifei's hand. Ever since knowing that Xiao Feifei would be returning from the parent-child activity at the kindergarten tomorrow, the little one has seemed particularly excited. This is the first time that a family of 3 can arrive at school at the same time. In the past, every time there was such an activity in kindergarten, the other children would gather together happily. Only the little one comes, and it's his father Su Yang who comes every time. Although it's good to have Su Yang around, the little guy still hopes that the family of 3 can be together. What are you still standing there for? Aren't you going to buy parent-child activity clothes? Seeing Su Yang still standing in the yard, Xiao Feifei couldn't help but urge him to speak. By the way, you drive the car. I'm wearing high heels today. As Xiao Feifei spoke, she handed the key to Su Yang. Su Yang looked at the key in his hand, then looked down at Xiao Feifei's white and tender feet. Then how did you drive here? Take off your shoes. Xiao Feifei's tone was still as cold as before, but Su Yang could still hear a slight difference. After she finished speaking, she pulled the little one directly towards the car parked at the entrance of the alley. Su Yang also followed, but he still couldn't figure it out. I would rather take off my shoes while driving. Isn't that troublesome? Why do you have to wear high heels? Fortunately, Su Yang just thought about this sentence secretly in his heart and didn't say it out loud. Otherwise, Xiao Feifei would be so angry that Shuezi would be in pain. Why do I wear high heels? Isn't this your favorite? She begged me to wear it before, but now she's getting serious with this outfit. We drove all the way to the largest shopping mall nearby. The place doesn't close until 11 o'clock in the evening, which is plenty of time for the 3 of them. Took the elevator to the first floor. The family of 3's extremely good looks attracted the attention of many passersby. Mom, this phantom space seems to be very interesting. The little guy Su Inua pointed at the several spaceship cabins in front with excitement. Looks like he really wants to play. Xiao Feifei's face turned black. Little guy, you did it on purpose, didn't you? What is this phantom space? You can tell at a glance that it is another 3D VR game. She had already suffered a loss last time. You can't suffer the same loss twice, right? Someone like her who is prone to 3D problems simply cannot play something like this. No, let's go buy the parent-child outfit first. Fortunately, Su Yang came to the rescue and directly pulled the little guy towards the clothing area. Although the little guy followed Su Yang, his eyes were still staring at the VR game area. This thing is so much fun for a 3-year-old kid like her. But thinking about tomorrow, when the 3 of us will be able to play together in kindergarten, the little one still thinks it is more important to buy parent-child outfits. In fact, Su Yang's home has parent-child decorations. But they're only for me and the little one. And the most important thing is that the little guy really dislikes what Su Yang bought. I think Papa is good in everything except his fashion sense, which is really bad. If Su Yang didn't have a good foundation, his dressing style would have been criticized a long time ago. But what can be done? Su Yang is just too handsome, the kind of person who can match any outfit with anything. The kind that won't look ugly in anything. Chapter 197, The Whole Family Are Celebrities? Which floor? Xiao Feifei looked at Su Yang and the little guy and asked. To be honest, Xiao Feifei is not very familiar with places like shopping malls and rarely comes there. Even when buying clothes, I go to stores of big brands. The 3rd floor sells children's clothing. Let's go to the 3rd floor first. Su Yang looked at the sign next to the elevator and then spoke. The 3 of them took the escalator up together, and the little guy, Su Inua, clamored to hold Su Yang and Xiao Feifei's hands. I saw the little guy holding Su Yang with his left hand and Xiao Feifei with his right hand. The feeling of the 2 big hands is completely different. Su Yang's hands are warm and broad, while Xiao Feifei's hands are delicate, smooth, and slightly cold. The little guy is very satisfied with the 2 big hands. She clenched her 2 big hands tightly and jumped happily, like a cute elf. The 3 of them soon arrived at the clothing store on the 3rd floor. Through the transparent glass outside, you can easily see the specialty area for parent-child wear inside. These parent-child outfits are put on tailor-made model dolls and look perfect. But with the appearance of Su Yang and the other 2, this good-looking family of 3 instantly caught the eyes of the store clerks. The clerk hurried forward, looking quite polite. What kind of clothes do you want to buy? The clerk said as he fixed his eyes on the little boy No. This is a children's clothing store. It's likely that the couple is here to buy clothes for their children, right? Miss, we want to buy parent-child clothing. Su Inua blinked his big eyes, and his voice was so soft that it was simply beautiful. At this moment, the female clerk was instantly overwhelmed with maternal love. This little guy is so cute. She is not married yet, but has just started dating. She is already fantasizing about having a cute daughter like Su Inua in the future. And her parents are so good-looking too. The female clerk couldn't help but look up at Xiao Feifei and Su Yang. One of them is like an iceberg beauty, and the other is as warm as spring. They are simply two extremes, especially the smile on Su Yang's face that was as warm as spring breeze. Anyone who sees it for the first time will immediately be impressed by it. The female clerk was in a good mood, having spent the entire day in the store dealing with some rather odd customers. Finally, a few normal people have come, so we should treat them well, right? Especially, the little guy called me little sister so affectionately. His little mouth was so sweet. The female clerk enthusiastically took the three people into the parent-child clothing area and then enthusiastically poured lemonade for them. He looked carefully at Su Yang and the other two, because the three of them have very good looks and figures. The salesgirls hardly had any major worries. People like them don't even have to choose. You can imagine how suitable and beautiful any set of parent-child clothing in the store will be when worn. There is not a single set that doesn't fit. We just need to see what colors and styles the three of them like. Su Yang glanced at the female clerk, then spoke lightly with a smile. It will be all right. The female clerk smiled helplessly after hearing this. Well, this little guy's dad is really like most men. There are no requirements for clothing. For them, shopping in a mall is like taking their lives. The most common phrase is anything is fine, or another sentence is almost. At the end, you might even add that's okay. To put it bluntly, I just don't have any taste in clothes. So this is why the little guy dislikes the clothes bought by Su Yang. He is not only like this to himself, but also when buying clothes for the little one. I never look at the style, color, or whether it's suitable. At most, just look at the size, quality, and price. Often, for a man like Su Yang, the time from entering the store to completing the shopping and checking out will never exceed 10 minutes. 1 minute longer is disrespectful to yourself. So, even though Su Yang's cooking skills are amazing now. However, when it came to buying parent-child clothing, little ones Su Inua and Xiao Feifei reached a consensus. He hardly even looked at Su Yang. The two of them began to choose clothes in tacit understanding, leaving Su Yang alone sitting in the rest area of the store with a cup of lemon tea. Su Yang didn't care. He didn't feel embarrassed at all. Instead, he sat on the sofa and drank lemon tea very comfortably. It's better for you two to finish the shopping by yourselves and don't come back to ask for my advice on buying clothes. Even if you ask, my answers are only, it's all fine. It's up to you and not bad. After a long selection, the little guy, Su Inua, finally chose a set of pure cotton t-shirt and shorts with a teddy bear hat. The fabric is soft and comfortable, the fit is right, and the style is relatively novel and special, making the little ones look even cuter when they wear it. Xiao Feifei chose a beige and light yellow outfit, which made her look more mature and charming. As for Su Yang, Xiao Feifei and Su Inua picked out a black and yellow outfit for him. It can make Su Yang look more stable. After all three of them were dressed, they walked out of the fitting room. Even the female clerk's eyes lit up, and she was a little stunned. Even some passersby passing by the clothing store couldn't help but stop. I have to say that Su Yang, Xiao Feifei, and Su Inua are all top-notch in terms of appearance and temperament. We are indeed a family. Passersby outside even thought it was a real model hired by the clothing store. Isn't this beauty too amazing? If the three of them walked out like this, one can imagine how many people would turn their heads to look at them along the way. If we didn't know that Su Yang and Xiao Feifei were divorced, we wouldn't know how many people would envy this family of three. They are such a perfect match. Generally speaking, after a customer tries on clothes, the salesgirl will compliment them using all the words she has learned throughout her life. When I meet someone who doesn't look so good, I praise their temperament. When I meet someone who doesn't have such good temperament, I praise their taste. When I meet someone who doesn't have such good taste, I praise their clothes for being a perfect fit. If there is really nothing else to praise, then I can only say, "Hello, sir, this dress is on sale for 30% off recently." Often, with these sales tactics, you're almost always successful. None of those guests could withstand it. After all, praising someone is like sweet poison. Even though you know there is something wrong with it, you still can't help but want to taste it. However, the clerk's praise for Su Yang's family of three was absolutely heartfelt. In fact, if she had the final say, she would even like to invite Su Yang and his family to take some promotional photos for the store. Look, even if you're not a star, ordinary people can also dress perfectly. She even had the idea of tearing down the celebrity posters on the wall and replacing them with Su Yang and the other two. This effect is more realistic. Chapter 198, one chose to go left, and the other chose to stop. Although Xiao Feifei and the little one Su Yino were both very satisfied with this set of costumes. But having just one set is certainly not enough for the little guy. Today is finally a day to escape from his father, Su Yang's terrible taste in clothes. Of course, if you can afford it, buy a few more nice sets. For Xiao Feifei, she was in a very good mood today. As long as my beloved daughter likes it, then I can buy it for her, right? Even if she bought all the clothes in the store, it wouldn't be a big deal for her. With the help of Xiao Feifei, the little boy Su Inua picked out 2 more sets of clothes. One is a pink suspender skirt suit. There are even cute cartoon designs printed on the fabric of the clothes. Looks like it suits the little one perfectly. Another one is a very fashionable chiffon dress. The white base material is printed with blue butterfly flowers. It is so beautiful. If there is a chance to go out and play, the little one will definitely look very beautiful in this outfit. As for Xiao Feifei herself, she also picked 2 pieces at random, but they were all chosen to match the little guy. Su Yang was calmly scrolling through his phone. He didn't have to set up a stall tonight, so he had plenty of time. Boss Su, why don't you come to our stall today? Just as Su Yang was scrolling through his phone, a private message came through WeChat. Su Yang opened it and took a look. It was none other than Lin Xiyin, the campus beauty of Jiangning University. She had originally wanted to come to Su Yang's stall today to buy some delicious food and get closer to the little guy. As a result, after waiting for a long time, I didn't see Su Yang mentioning any news in the group about setting up a stall in the evening. There was no other way but to send a private message to Su Yang to ask about the situation. I have something to do today, so I won't set up the stall. Okay, what about tomorrow? Tomorrow, I have to accompany the little one to the kindergarten to participate in parent-child activities. It depends on the specific situation. Parent-child activities? They seem to be fun. Can I come and play? The little guy's mother is here too. All right. In the girls' dormitory of Jiangning University, Lin Xiyin looked a little unhappy after putting down her cell phone. Originally, she thought she could seize this opportunity and take the opportunity to have more close communication with Su Yang. This is good for myself and the Lin family. But no one expected that Xiao Feifei would actually participate in this parent-child activity at the kindergarten. According to Lin Xiyin's understanding, how could a proud person like Xiao Feifei agree to this? Hasn't she never been to the little guy's kindergarten? Could it be that Xiao Feifei was thinking of getting back together? Lin Xiyin was a little nervous. The senior executives in the Lin family didn't pay much attention to Su Yang, but Lin Xiyin herself knew it. Su Yang's cooking skills are definitely among the best in Shanghai. If Xiao Feifei wants to win Su Yang back for the sake of Xiao's catering status, it will still have a great impact on the Lin group. Whether for personal or family reasons, Lin Xiyin had to act decisively. On the other side, Su Yang had just put down his phone when the little guy Su Inuo ran over. Papa, can I keep wearing this dress? The little guy was obviously very satisfied with the new clothes he bought. It even got to the point where I didn't want to take it off. In response, Su Yang had no choice but to speak up. Of course you can, but you still have to wash it when you get home and wait until it's dry before you can wear it. Okay, although the little one wants to wear it even when sleeping. But since her father Su Yang said so, she could only comfort herself that at least she could wear it on the way home. Papa, can we take a picture together? Together? Yeah, it's me, you, and Mom. Su Yang was silent for a moment, then glanced at Xiao Feifei, who was standing beside him. The ice beauty Xiao Feifei blushed slightly, but then quickly recovered. Seeing that Su Yang and Xiao Feifei didn't react, the little guy couldn't wait to take the initiative to hold their hands again. Seeing this, Su Yang had no choice but to nod. Xiao Feifei walked up and handed her cell phone to the female clerk. The other party quickly understood, turned on the camera mode, and took several photos of the 3 people at different angles. The little guy Su Inua's expression is so rich. Whether it's pouting to look cute, making those scissors hands, or making cool little expressions. Every move is so cute. Xiao Feifei was a bit stiff. Although she wanted to cooperate, she really didn't know how to do it. She did learn a lot of poses from Su Yang, but there were very few poses for taking photos. After all, Su Yang didn't have the habit of taking photos or recording them. Even Su Yang himself can only make the simplest scissors hand gesture when taking photos. The only thing that changed was the addition of a thumbs up and a smile. But even so, Su Yang's handsomeness and Xiao Feifei's beauty are still unmatched. Even though there were few movements, they still coordinated skillfully and harmoniously. After taking the photos, Su Yang was about to pay the bill, but found that Xiao Feifei had already paid. For 3 sets of clothes, the total cost was nearly 6,000 yuan. This number is really not cheap for ordinary people. But for Xiao Feifei, it was nothing. Even the current Su Yang can take it out easily. However, although Su Yang didn't have to pay, he still had to carry the bag. You can't let Xiao Feifei take it herself, right? Although the little guy wanted to jump and try to hold it by himself, he was too tall and not strong enough. Su Yang could only lift the pack bags with his left and right hands. Xiao Feifei turned her head and glanced at Su Yang. His slightly embarrassed and clumsy look was almost like two different people from his handsome appearance when cooking. But now Su Yang has a more real feeling. In other words, he is more like the Su Yang in Xiao Feifei's memory. The two have been together since college. Everything new changes from curiosity to familiarity. They didn't know why, but everything was going so well for them, and gradually they came to a fork in the road. One chose to go left, and the other chose to stop. No, one chose left, and the other chose right. Just as Xiao Feifei began to sigh again, the little guy was excitedly flipping through the photos that the female clerk had just taken. After finishing the few photos he had just taken, the little guy turned to the photos at the back. I saw that all the photos were of me and my father Su Yang. There are photos of the two of them setting up a stall together, photos of Su Yang concentrating on frying beef noodles, and even today, photos of Su Yang making liver paste soup in a hotel. Every photo is very clear. Even when Su Yang was cooking, his bright eyes could be seen clearly. Even the little guy, Su Inua, couldn't help but murmur, "Papa, so handsome." Chapter 199. Men can understand it. Only after hearing the little guy's voice did Xiao Feifei react. Her face turned red in an instant. Although the little guy was only looking at the photos in his mobile phone gallery, not the hidden folder. But it's still a very embarrassing thing. In particular, there is a video in the gallery of Su Yang singing at a music festival. The song You My Desk Mate is so beautiful and charming. The little guy Su Inua was watching the phone intently, but Xiao Feifei decisively stretched out her white hand and snatched the phone back. Then Xiao Feifei turned off the screen in one go and put it in her pocket. Even the little guy was a little confused. What happened to Mom? Why such a big reaction? Isn't it just that the gallery is full of photos and videos of myself and Papa Su Yang? Oh, it seems there should be more pictures and videos of Papa. But what does this matter? I saw the little guy looking at me with confused eyes blinking. Xiao Feifei lowered her head, not even daring to look at him. She could only stamp her feet secretly and said with a red face, "Let's go." Oh. Although the little guy, Su, didn't quite understand, he still nodded obediently. At this moment, Su Yang, who was holding things in both hands, slowly walked up from behind. But before he could open his mouth, Xiao Feifei had already walked out. Looking at Xiao Feifei's back as she seemed to want to escape, Su Yang was very confused. He glanced at the little guy Su Inua, and the look in his eyes meant, "You made your mother angry again?" The little guy shrugged his shoulders, spread his hands, and shook his head, indicating that he knew nothing. All right, Su Yang didn't say anything else. The three of them left the clothing store and took the escalator downstairs. When I got the first floor, I should have gone straight home. But when passing by a naughty castle, the little guy suddenly spoke with anticipation. "Papa, Mom, I want to play that." The little guy was pointing at the ocean ball slide in the naughty castle. Xiao Feifei has also cooled down at this moment. Faced with the little guy's request, she couldn't help but think back to the previous 2 days. That time at the cultural square, the little guy insisted on playing on the pirate ship. Xiao Feifei remembered that she originally wanted to take the little one to play this kind of activities that children should play. But the little guy said stubbornly, "I'm not a 3-year-old kid anymore. I won't play these games." But now, why do we suddenly have to play this kind of children's game again? So the little one's age is flexible. Flexible addition and subtraction anytime, anywhere. Xiao Feifei smiled helplessly, but after thinking about it, she decided to come out to accompany her today anyway. Might as well just let her be happy. "Okay, I'll go play with you." After hearing what his mother Xiao Feifei said, the little boy Su Inua shook his head firmly. "No need, Mom. I can do it alone." Then the little guy looked at Su Yang and said in a serious tone, "Papa, you don't have to accompany me. You two just chat here, I'll go play with the other kids." Su Yang glanced at Xiao Feifei, and Xiao Feifei glanced at Su Yang. For a moment, it was a bit awkward. Obviously, neither of them expected this situation to happen. However, the little guy had made up his mind. After Su Yang bought the tickets, he ran in quickly, leaving the two people in embarrassment. Su Yang and Xiao Feifei were sitting next to each other on the bench outside the naughty castle. For a while, no one spoke. Inside the castle, The little guy poked his little head out from a pile of ocean balls. She glanced in the direction of Su Yang and Xiao Feifei and spoke in the tone of an adult. Papa, Mom, your little cutie can only help you so far. Let's get along well. Xiao Feifei sat on the bench, and even her heartbeat began to speed up. The last time I had this feeling was when I first went on a date with Su Yang. The same thing happened to the two of them. No one spoke first for a long time. Unexpectedly, after so many years, the two of them have become so familiar with each other that they can't be more familiar with each other. Even though I could remember clearly whether I had a birthmark and its location, I could still experience the embarrassment I once felt. Fortunately, this embarrassment was quickly offset with the help of passers-by. There is no way around it, after all. Xiao Feifei is indeed quite outstanding in appearance. Her appearance is definitely star level, especially today, with her long white legs and high heels. Who the hell can withstand such an attack speed outfit? The young men passing by couldn't help but take a few more glances. If Su Yang hadn't been sitting next to them, they would have walked up and boldly tried to ask for a WeChat message. There's no loss if you fail anyway. If this works, just thinking about a pair of long legs, at least it will be fun, right? But what can I do? Su Yang is just too handsome. After seeing Su Yang's appearance, these young people hesitated and finally chose to give up. This guy is so infuriating. With Su Yang's looks, even if Daniel Wu came in person, he might not necessarily be better than Su Yang. With such a handsome appearance, I'm afraid only readers on a certain tomato novel software can compete with him. Among the passers-by, many girls dressed in fresh and beautiful clothes also stopped. Their eyes were all fixed on Su Yang. Along with the crowd passing by, what was even more coincidental was that there were even fans of Su Yang's fried noodle stall passing by. Originally, he just couldn't help but look back a few more times because of the handsome man and beautiful woman. But after confirming that it was Su Yang, he immediately walked back and greeted him excitedly. It's like a fan meeting. Boss Su, what a coincidence. I was wondering why you didn't go out to the stall tonight. Turns out you were on a date with a pretty lady. Obviously, this foodie fan of Su Yang mistook Xiao Feifei for one of Su Yang's fanatical fans in the group. After all, the female fans in the group shamelessly changed their comments to something like Boss Su's wife, or something like that. They not only want to eat Su Yang's fried rice noodles, they also want Su Yang's fried rice noodles. This was not something surprising for the middle-aged man in front of him. A man like Su Yang, who is handsome and capable, is so popular. Especially the beauty next to Su Yang. She is definitely a great beauty. Not to mention Su Yang. Even if I were 20 or 30 years younger, I would not be able to control myself. What's more, he also knew that Boss Su was divorced and single. Sometimes it's not shameful to have more friends of the opposite sex around you and comfort each other. Men can understand. Chapter 200, the little guy is starting to fall in love with the domineering president. When Su Yang saw the other party's eyes showing, I understand you and I really envy you, he instantly realized that the other party was wrong. I just brought my daughter out to buy parent-child clothing. The little one has an activity at kindergarten tomorrow. Oh, I see. I understand. Although Su Yang explained, the other party didn't listen at all. He even winked at Su Yang and indicated that he had something to do and left first. Before leaving, he couldn't help but look back to remind him. Boss Su, please don't delay setting up the stall tomorrow. I'm still looking forward to eating the delicious food you cook. Oh, by the way, I won't tell anyone else about what happened today, but you must sell me an extra box of crystal cake tomorrow. Seeing the middle-aged man leaving, Su Yang and Xiao Feifei felt helpless at the same time. Especially Xiao Feifei. Her teeth were almost broken. What does this guy think he is to Su Yang? Or is Su Yang like this in private? It turns out that his is not a serious fried noodle food group. Is it a real fried noodle group? Xiao Feifei thought about it, then immediately shook her head. Impossible. Su Yang doesn't seem to be that kind of person. If he really wanted to, he would have found a stepmother for the little guy long ago. There is absolutely no need to be sneaky. Thinking of this, Xiao Feifei finally felt relieved. I'm sorry just now. Because of the appearance of this middle-aged man, Su Yang and Xiao Feifei finally started talking. The atmosphere afterwards was finally not so awkward. Mom, coming quickly. I prepared some pink slippers for Mom. In the house rented by Su Yang, Xiao Feifei originally wanted to drive away directly, but the little girl kept begging her to come in and sit down. Xiao Feifei had no choice but to let the little guy do what he wanted. As soon as he entered the house, the little guy's Su Ina became especially diligent. She was busy running around getting slippers, water and fruit for Xiao Feifei. Xiao Feifei saw it all and felt very satisfied. It seems that the little guy did not suffer any special trauma due to their divorce. At least for now, the little guy is still as lively and sunny as before. This is also what Xiao Feifei wants to see. After all, no one wants to involve children in adult matters. You guys sit down and rest first. I'll go make you some midnight snack. Su Yang walked towards the kitchen and prepared something delicious. Papa, let me help you wash the vegetables. The little guy, Su Inua, immediately stood up and volunteered. Now, she has become quite skilled in helping her father Su Yang wash and pick vegetables. A very competent helper. Su Yang smiled, touched the little guy's head, and spoke. Not today. Go sit with your mother for a while. Following Su Yang's instructions, the little guy nodded his head. Indeed, Mom will leave soon, so I should spend more time with her. She took small steps and walked from the kitchen to the living room. Then she looked carefully at her mother Xiao Feifei's face and said with great concern, Mom has lost weight recently. You didn't eat properly. This won't do. Papa said that if you don't eat on time, your stomach will be damaged by hunger. You can't eat delicious food if you're starving. Xiao Feifei was also very touched when she heard the little guy's soft and caring words. While Su Yang was busy in the kitchen, he reached out and took the little guy in his arms. She pressed her face against the little one's smooth face, and the mother and daughter snuggled together. At this moment, Xiao Feifei just felt extremely warm. For a moment, she felt that this was a good idea, although the house in front of me is not as good as the one I lived in when I broke up with Su Yang. But what it brought to Xiao Feifei was the feeling of home. In this respect, even your own villa cannot compare to it. If time could stop, she really wanted to stay at this moment forever. In the past, Xiao Feifei never thought so, thinking that she still had plenty of time to spend with the little one and Su Yang. Only after you really lose it do you look back and realize it. How precious are days like this? Maybe that's what the lyrics mean. What you can't get will always cause you trouble. Those who are favored are fearless. If I could spend more time with my little one, would everything be better? Xiao Feifei just felt that she seemed to have made a big mistake. The little guy, Su Inua, took out the remote control and turned on the TV. The TV was playing The Best Time starring Brother Xiaoming. Xiao Feifei glanced at the little guy who was enjoying the meal with great gusto and looked confused. No, why does little guy, Su Inua, like to watch TV series of this tone? What's wrong? Mom, isn't being a domineering CEO bad? Isn't Mom a domineering female executive? A domineering female judge? Xiao Feifei was caught off guard by this sudden address. However, she quickly and decisively turned the TV back to the children's cartoon channel. No, don't watch this kind of messed up TV series anymore. What's wrong, Mommy? In short, you're not allowed to look at it. Okay. Originally, the little guy Su Ina wanted to share with his mother Xiao Feifei this TV series that he liked very much recently. Unexpectedly, my mother didn't seem to like it at all. Dad Su Yang is the same. He is very opposed to me watching TV dramas about domineering CEOs. Why exactly? The little guy couldn't figure it out. Isn't Xiaoming a good actor? He is also very handsome, although he is not as handsome as his father Su Yang. But it's still okay. Doesn't Mom like handsome guys? Then how did she fall in love with Dad? For the young Su Inua, although he tried his best to pretend to be an adult. But there are still so many things I don't understand about the adult world. Get ready to eat. Su Yang's voice came from the kitchen. He first came out carrying a plate of fried shredded potatoes. Xiao Feifei just took a look and couldn't help but speak. Can you keep an eye on the little guy when you're setting up your stall? He's starting to get a crush on the boss. Boss? Su Yang was also slightly stunned, and then he reacted. He put the dishes on the table and walked over, then lowered his head and tapped the little guy on the forehead. No. What did you agree with, Dad? You said you wouldn't watch these domineering CEOs' TV shows. The little guy covered his forehead with his hands and made an aggrieved expression. After looking at Xiao Feifei, he covered his forehead and spoke. It's not me who wants to see it. It's Mom who wants to see it. After hearing the little guy's quibbling, Xiao Feifei couldn't help herself and gave the little guy a slap on the head as well. Now Su Ino instantly felt the pressure of life. My parents clearly loved me so much just now. How come I was subjected to domestic violence by both men and women in the blink of an eye? Am I still your favorite little cutie? Chapter 201 Mom, is the meat that Papa sandwich tastier? The three dishes made by Su Yang were served on the table one by one. Braised spare ribs, shredded potatoes with chili peppers, fried eggplant, and a big bowl of tomato and egg soup to take away. Although they are not big dishes, they are not produced by the system. But with Su Yang's current skills and understanding of cooking, the food he makes is still delicious. What's more, the little guy Su Ina is a master at supporting the main role. As long as it's cooked by Dad Su Yang, it will taste good. To make an analogy, it's probably the same relationship between teacher He and teacher Huang. However, Su Yang's cooking is really much more delicious. It smells so good, Papa. The little guy Su Inua has already started using his chopsticks. The aroma of the food made her drool. Without any hesitation, he was even ready to grab a piece of the secret braised spare ribs. Bang! Bang! Su Yang and Xiao Feifei both used their chopsticks to hit him almost at the same time. Don't use your hands directly. The little guy felt very aggrieved instantly. Papa and Mom are both so mean. Whoa! The expression on Su Inua's face was extremely aggrieved. In the past, only Su Yang beat her, but now, her mother has joined in too. It seems that having a mother around doesn't always mean happiness. Sometimes, you have to bear double the pain. Su Inua picked up the chopsticks, but because he was not very skilled yet, he looked a little funny. But for a bite of food, the little guy can be said to have used up all his life's knowledge and all his strength. Finally, I managed to pick up a piece of braised pork ribs. After putting the pork ribs into his bowl, the little guy started smiling happily again. I couldn't help but feel proud in my heart. If you don't use your hands, then don't use your hands. What's the big deal? I can use chopsticks just as well. As the little guy couldn't wait to bite it, the aroma of the gravy was so satisfying. Every time this happens, the little guy feels that he is the happiest kid in the world. The 3 dishes and 1 soup on the table were cooked by Su Yang to look, smell, and taste great. Even Xiao Feifei, who usually has a poor appetite, was concentrating on eating. Although these dishes in front of me are home-cooked dishes, they are really delicious. And I don't know if it's an illusion, but Xiao Feifei feels that even the rice cooked by Su Yang tastes different from that of others. Even she can finish a big bowl of this fragrant and soft rice. Xiao Feifei and Su Inua were both eating hard. On the contrary, Su Yang, who had just finished cooking, didn't move his chopsticks much. He wasn't really hungry, so he just made himself a bowl of tomato and egg soup and drank it leisurely. The tomato and egg soup I make after improving my understanding of cooking skills is naturally very different from that made by ordinary chefs. It is not only fragrant and delicious, with the right balance of sweet and sour, but also very smooth. Even the chef of Mingji Hotel managed by Xiao Feifei can't produce food of this level. Su Yang enjoyed drinking this bowl of soup very much. He glanced at Xiao Feifei, who was sitting opposite him. Although the two have divorced, to be honest, Xiao Feifei has not changed much. Except for occasionally looking a little tired, she is still so beautiful. Even when eating, he is always so slow and leisurely, which is completely different from the little guy Su Inoa. Su Yang looked at Su Ino next to him. This guy had eaten so much that the corners of his mouth were covered with grease. Don't eat so fast, your stomach won't be able to take it. Although Su Yang said this, he still put food into the little guy's bowl from time to time. Su Inua finally found a gap to eat. He looked up at Su Yang, then gestured to his mother Xiao Feifei. Su Yang also picked up a large piece of pork ribs for Xiao Feifei. The sudden action made Xiao Feifei stunned. She lowered her head casually and spoke. Thanks. Su Inua blinked his big eyes and asked Xiao Feifei with pretended curiosity. Mom, is the meat in Papa's sandwich tastier? This question instantly made Xiao Feifei feel a little embarrassed. Even Su Yang couldn't stand it. Good guy, I was fooled by the little guy. It was you who used your eyes to ask me to pick up food for your mother. And now you are doing this to me? As expected, children should not be allowed to watch movies about overbearing CEOs. Now they have been taught badly. Su Yang coughed lightly and tried to speak in a calm tone. Don't talk while eating. Don't talk while eating, and don't talk while sleeping. The little guy made a face at Su Yang, then went back to working on the spare ribs in the bowl. These ribs are so delicious. She never gets tired of eating it. Su Inua feels that she can finish it all. Su Yang smiled slightly. He used a secret sauce on the ribs. The ingredients alone include seafood sauce, sesame paste, star anise powder, and so on. With Su Yang's confidence, let alone the main ingredient being pork ribs. Even if it was slippers, the taste would be amazing after being cooked. The little guy is very busy and never has time to rest his mouth. In fact, she had already eaten a lot of snacks tonight. But, as a real foodie, the key to the problem is often not whether she is hungry or not. It depends on how much her little belly can hold. As long as her belly doesn't burst, she can stuff everything in. I won't stop until I can't eat anymore. Of course, the prerequisite for triggering this incident is that it must be delicious food made by Su Yang himself. As for the others, they don't get this treatment at all. 3 people, 3 dishes and a soup, all was finished in less than half an hour. Let me wash the dishes. Su Yang was cleaning the table and preparing to go to the kitchen with a plate. Suddenly, Xiao Feifei called me. You want to wash the dishes? Su Yang turned around and looked at Xiao Feifei, finding it unbelievable. What? Can't I wash the dishes? Xiao Feifei asked back, biting her lip. Of course. Su Yang smiled. Then I'll trouble you today. After saying that, Su Yang placed all the stacked bowls in the sink. It wasn't until Su Yang walked past Xiao Feifei with a relaxed look on his face that Xiao Feifei reacted. No, Su Yang, he really doesn't know how to be polite at all? Xiao Feifei was speechless. Although she really wanted to wash the dishes today, it was also a way to express her love for the little guy. But, Su Yang, you're really justified. In particular, Xiao Feifei suddenly remembered that she had paid for all the parent-child outfits she bought at the mall today. When paying, Su Yang didn't even seem to be rushing to pay. No, has Su Yang ever been such a straight man before? Xiao Feifei was helpless, but there was nothing she could do, so she had to walk towards the kitchen with her long, white legs. Looking at her back, the red skirt swaying against her body, Su Yang had to admit it. Xiao Feifei's figure is still as great as ever. Chapter 2, O2 You two usually get together. When was the last time Xiao Feifei washed dishes? Not to mention Su Yang. Even Xiao Feifei, who was washing dishes, didn't remember this question. Anyway, since she got together with Su Yang, she has never helped him wash anything except washing his hair. When Xiao Feifei finally finished her work and came out, the little girl Su Inua quickly asked her to sit on the sofa. Mom? Question mark. Look at this apple on the table. It's big and round. It must be very sweet. Question mark. Mom, you weren't full just now. Xiao Feifei glanced at Su Inua and pinched her chubby face hard. Want me to peel an apple for you? Su Inua endured the pain on his face and nodded his head repeatedly. Xiao Feifei let go of her hand and picked up the fruit knife and apple on the table. Her fair and beautiful fingers pressed the blade of the knife and twisted it slowly on the apple. Her movements were very graceful, and her expression was extremely focused. Soon, the apple was peeled, and what was especially special was that the apple skin was even connected into one strip without breaking. Wow, Mom is so awesome. Papa is right. Only apples peeled by Mom will not break. From now on, when Nuonua wants to eat apples, he can ask Mom to peel them for him. Okay? Su Inua's little mouth is really good at coaxing people. Even Xiao Feifei was in a good mood. Originally, because of her divorce, she felt a little embarrassed to stay here. But because the little guy livened up the atmosphere, she felt very comfortable instead. But Xiao Feifei handed the peeled apple to the little guy and looked at the time. It's already 10 o'clock. It's almost time to go back. Mom, are you leaving? The little guy took a bite of the apple, spoke vaguely, and his eyes showed that he was reluctant to let it go. Xiao Feifei stood up and touched the little guy's head. Well, it's getting late. I should go back. No, you should go to bed early too. See you tomorrow in kindergarten. When Xiao Feifei said this, she couldn't help but glance at Su Yang. Su Yang nodded lightly. The newly bought clothes are already in the washing machine. I can just change into them when Su Yang takes them to kindergarten tomorrow. But Mom, you haven't slept with Nuonuo for a long time. The little guy also stood up, took Xiao Feifei's hand with his little hand, and shook it gently, as if begging. Is it okay? Xiao Feifei looked down and saw Su Inua's big black and white eyes full of expectation and desire. Only at this time did Xiao Feifei react. To put it bluntly, the little guy Su Inua is just a 3-year-old child. She tried hard to create a relaxed and happy family atmosphere. But when he was about to leave, the little guy was still very sad. She is just a child, and divorce shouldn't hurt her. For a moment, Xiao Feifei felt that she was indeed a terrible mother. Looking back, before the divorce, the number of times she had coaxed the little one to sleep could be counted on one hand. As for after the divorce, not even once. Every night, Su Yang is with the little guy. No wonder, now the little guy's eyes are full of Su Yang. Xiao Feifei stood there blankly, not knowing how to refuse for a moment. She really couldn't bear it. Stay tonight. There's no problem sleeping 2 people in the little guy's room. Finally, it was Su Yang who spoke. Xiao Feifei looked at Su Yang silently. Su Yang's eyes were deep, and he looked more mature and stable than before. Okay. After a moment's silence, Xiao Feifei finally gave in. Yeah, that's great. Mommy's staying today. The little guy Su Inua felt like he was dreaming. She was so happy that she didn't know where she got the courage from, but she suddenly grabbed her mother Xiao Feifei's hand. Although Su Inua didn't say anything, she still hoped to be with her parents. However, she was still young and didn't know about the problems between her parents. Faced with the issue of divorce, Su Inua could only choose to be obedient. Although she has the company of the best father in the world, Su Yang, sometimes at night she dreams of her mother, Xiao Feifei. In the dream, their family of three still looked very happy. But I didn't bring any pajamas. Xiao Feifei decided to stay and accompany the little guy tonight, but then she remembered that she was not prepared at all. It's okay, Mom. You can wear mine. Su Inua was very generous. I have several sets. Mom, take your pick. Xiao Feifei looked at the little guy Su Inua, then looked down at her own long legs and tall, straight curves. What kind of pajamas can a 3-year-old wear by himself? How about wearing paparazzi? The little guy also realized the key to the problem belatedly. Yes, Mommy Xiao Feifei can't wear it at all. Because I was so excited, I actually forgot about it for a moment. It's okay. I have a set that I haven't worn yet. Su Yang walked into his room, took out a brand new set of pajamas, and handed it to Xiao Feifei. At the same time, even the bath towels are clean and newly bought. When the little guy saw that the problem was solved, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. She walked forward, held Su Yang with one hand and Xiao Feifei with the other, and said happily, Mama, Papa, can we take a bath together today? In the bathroom, the little guy Su Inua was very confused. Why Dad Su Yang is unwilling to come in and take a shower with me and Mom Xiao Feifei. It was obvious that they were secretly taking a bath together at that time. Why can't I add myself now? Could it be that Papa dislikes me? But there is no reason. The little guy was a little confused and rubbed the small bump on his forehead, feeling aggrieved. Mom and Dad were too harsh just now. Why am I so unlucky today? I've already been beaten 3 times. It's almost catching up with the number of times I usually see in a week. Depressed, very depressed. While the little guy was sad, Xiao Feifei was preparing to brush her teeth. Looking down, Su Yang had already prepared a new toothbrush and a cup on the sink. Even the toothpaste is already squeezed. Xiao Feifei couldn't help but smile sweetly. Perhaps this was just a very ordinary thing for Su Yang. This is how he usually takes care of the little one. But for Xiao Feifei, it made her feel very warm. Su Yang was like this in the past, taking care of himself meticulously. There are many things that you will only know after you really leave and break up. Su Yang is behind the scenes. Not only is he ruthless, he also takes care of many details. She had not noticed these things before and just thought that all of this was normal. Thinking about it now, it's a completely different feeling. Chapter 203, If They Really Get Back Together? Should I Be Happy? After washing up, Xiao Feifei put on the clean pajamas that Su Yang had just bought. Disney Mickey Mouse t-shirt, especially the eyes, are extra big, coming out of the bathroom. Even her naturally cool demeanor was a little less, and she looked even cuter. The little girl, Su Inua, ran back to her pink princess room excitedly, looking forward to sleeping with her mother today. Su Yang's master bedroom also has a bathroom, which is rarely used. Today I just took a simple shower and walked out, but what a coincidence, I bumped into Xiao Feifei, who was changing into pajamas. Needless to say, Xiao Feifei has a stunning appearance, figure, and charm. Su Yang is not too bad either, especially because his body is strengthened by the system. Although he hasn't exercised much, the muscles all over his body are extremely strong and well-proportioned. Even in pajamas, you can imagine 6 full abdominal muscles. Unexpectedly, after not seeing her for a while, Su Yang's figure not only did not change, but became even better. Both sides looked at each other and fell silent at the same time. The whole atmosphere became a little strange. If it were in the past, the two of them would have been very tacit, first confirming whether the little guy was asleep, but at the moment, the atmosphere is a bit ambiguous. But both of them are very clear in their minds that they have divorced, especially since the little one hasn't fallen asleep yet. Mom, are you still not well? In the room, the little guy's urging voice came, interrupting the awkward atmosphere. Xiao Feifei also reacted, glanced at Su Yang, and said softly, Go to bed early. Su Yang nodded. Xiao Feifei walked into the little guy's room, and the whole room was filled with pink colors. You can tell at a glance that these are all carefully dressed up by Su Yang. Not only is it very clean and tidy, but it is also full of girlishness. Even Xiao Feifei couldn't help but be moved. Mom, come and sleep. The little guy Su Inua was already sleepy. If it were any other time, she would have fallen asleep long ago. But today is different. She wants to sleep snuggled in Xiao Feifei's arms. Xiao Feifei's arms are softer and bigger than a pillow. Putting your head in them is so comfortable. Mom, you smell so good. As Xiao Feifei got on the bed, the little guy naturally buried his head in her arms. It's soft and especially elastic. Xiao Feifei blushed slightly. To be honest, she rarely encountered such a situation. Mom, can you tell me a bedtime story? The little guy raised his head and spoke with blinking eyes. Xiao Feifei thought about it for a long time, then gave up. Won't. After hearing Xiao Feifei's answer, the little guy was not displeased at all, but spoke excitedly. Then let me tell you one. Okay. Xiao Feifei smiled. One winter, the rabbit came to the cafe and asked the owner, "Do you have iced coffee?" The owner said, "Sir, there is no iced coffee in winter, only in summer." The next day, Rabbit came again and asked the boss if he had iced coffee. The boss still said no. On the third day, Rabbit came again and asked the boss if there was iced coffee today. The boss said that he knew you were coming today, so he had prepared it a long time ago. The rabbit said, "Oh, okay. Then please heat it up." What's the matter, Mom? Is my story not interesting? Su Inua asked knowingly. The smile on Xiao Feifei's face seemed extremely stiff. What do you think? Who told you this? Papa. Xiao Feifei frowned. This kind of dark joke was most likely told by Su Yang. But this is a bit too. Shouldn't he be more traditional? For example, Andersen's fairy tales or something. Xiao Feifei was speechless. Mom doesn't like listening to stories, so let's sing a song. Just sing it. Xiao Feifei shook her head and refused directly. Although she is very confident in herself, her self-awareness is still online when it comes to singing. Others sing for money, but she sings. Seeing that his mother Xiao Feifei was not willing to sing, the little guy had to sing by himself. The dark sky hangs low. Bright stars accompany you. Insects flying. Insects flying. Who are you missing? Although the little guy Su Inua's singing level is not very good, at least he can still sing in tune. But Xiao Feifei seemed a little confused. No, how can a 3-year-old kid sing this kind of song nowadays? Could it be that Su Yang taught him again? However, the smile on Xiao Feifei's face returned. This song is really suitable for little ones. It's very nice. Soon, Su Inua fell asleep in Xiao Feifei's arms while singing. Even the smile on her face is sweet. Xiao Feifei hadn't fallen asleep yet. She looked up at the light on the roof, lost in thought. Everything seems to be fine now. She didn't do anything Mr. Xiao did, and she seemed to have found the meaning of life. But Xiao Feifei took out her cell phone and found Feng Xiaoya on WeChat. At this moment, Feng Xiaoya is eating supper while watching TV series. She curled up in the quilt, crying her eyes out. At this moment, the mobile phone screen in front of her prompted that there was a new message. Feng Xiaoya put down the tissue in her hand and clicked it. Do women have to have their own careers? Feng Xiaoya opened her eyes wide and confirmed again and again that the person who sent the message was indeed Xiao Feifei. To be honest, she is now a little excited and thrilled, as if she has discovered a new world. The sad atmosphere and emotions I felt when watching the TV series just now have long been forgotten. What's wrong? Sister Feifei, have you figured it out? Come to my house. I can help you. Feng Xiaoya quickly edited the WeChat message and sent it back. When Xiao Feifei saw this, she immediately understood what the other person meant. What kind of mess does this woman think about every day? Get lost and go to sleep. Xiao Feifei gritted her teeth and typed a line of words back. Sister Feifei, I have always been on your side. As long as you open your mouth, I will help you take down that man. Feng Xiaoya sent the message, but after waiting for a long time, she still didn't hear back from Xiao Feifei. Just when she was about to give up, there was finally some movement in Xiao Feifei's WeChat message. Let's talk about it later. Although there were only 3 short words, Feng Xiaoya understood it very clearly. The icy beauty Xiao Feifei is starting to loosen up. Sure enough, only after leaving Su Yang did I realize how outstanding and good this man is. Sister Feifei, do you regret it now? However, Although Fang Xiaoyao was happy that Xiao Feifei finally figured it out, she also inevitably felt a little disappointed. If Sister Feifei really gets back together with Su Yang, should I be happy or unhappy? Chapter 204, A New Round of Points Lottery. In the master bedroom, Su Yang hadn't fallen asleep yet. Today he could see that the little guy was happier than usual. Maybe it was because her mother Xiao Feifei hadn't been with her like this for a long time. Seeing the little guy so happy, Su Yang would naturally be happy too. I glanced at the time on my phone, and it was almost midnight. But Su Yang still didn't feel tired. Because the system strengthened his body, he not only did not feel tired when cooking, but he also did not feel tired when doing other things. Especially, even if you do feel tired, less than 4 hours of sleep is enough. Su Yang had only heard of one man having such a perverted physique before. That is, Lei Jun, who said, "Are you okay?" According to him, the work intensity was very high during the period of starting his business. He only needs 3 hours of sleep a day. Later, after becoming Mr. Lei, he only needed an average of 4 to 5 hours. To be honest, despite such a miraculous physique, he has not died suddenly and looks full of energy. Su Yang suspected that Lei Jun might also have some kind of system. Maybe it's called Super Xiaoai System. Su Yang smiled faintly. Although this idea was outrageous, what if it was true? After all, reality is often stranger than fiction. Novels often require logic, but reality does not. Su Yang opened the system in his mind and checked the points. 2,920 system points are enough for him to draw 29 times. Without any hesitation, the lottery started directly. Congratulations, host. You won the Godly Chef System Lottery. Sunny Doll? Congratulations, host. You won the Godly Chef System Lottery. Fresh Chewing Gum X10. Congratulations, host. You won the Godly Chef System Lottery. Bedside Toilet Paper. Congratulations, host. You won the Godly Chef System Lottery. Osmanthus Oolong Tea. Su Yang took a quick look at the 29 draws and found that there were not many truly useful rewards. Clearing doll. When you notice the weather change when you are setting up a stall outside, you can hang this doll on the stall. No matter it is windy, rainy, hail, or even raining knives, it will be forced to turn into a sunny day with wind and sunshine. Fresh chewing gum. One bite can keep your breath fresh for the whole day, and it also has the effect of cleaning teeth. Men and women, adults and children, all love it. Osmanthus Oolong Tea. A traditional Chinese drink that perfectly combines the sweet fragrance of osmanthus and the mellowness of oolong tea to form a unique tea drink. Although I didn't get any new recipes, having this oolong tea drink is pretty good. After all, even the weather in Shanghai is starting to get cooler. In the future, ice mung bean shaved ice may not sell so well. It would be best to switch to top-grade osmanthus oolong tea at this time. The next day, Su Yang got up before 4:30, just like before. He didn't go directly to the vegetable market today. Instead, after washing up, he stood in the yard and moved around a bit. Because today he is going to attend a parent-child activity in the kindergarten with little Xiao Feifei. Therefore, under special circumstances, we will not be setting up the stall this morning and at noon. As for the night, that depends on the situation. Maybe put it, maybe not. As Su Yang sent the message to the Penguin Food Group, wails of grief were immediately heard in the group. It's over, it's over. The most tragic thing has happened. Boss Su is just like those big up hosts. He is not so diligent in setting up stalls after making money. Wow, wow, wow. Is this the end of my youth? I missed the first day of Mr. Su's delicious food. Promise me, Boss Su, you must come tonight. I will wait for you in the university town. Wait till death. You guys are such drama queens. You really put on too much drama. Didn't Boss Su say that he had something to do today? After sending the group message, Su Yang called the shop owner in the vegetable market. Tell them there's no need to deliver mung beans and rice noodles to their door today. When everything was done, Su Yang looked at the time. It was only 5 o'clock. I'd better go to the vegetable market. First, I can prepare breakfast. Second, if I really want to set up a stall at night, I can't do without fresh ingredients. After Su Yang made up his mind, he rode his electric 3-wheeled motorcycle straight out. Along the way, I greeted the elderly people nearby. Tell them not to wait this morning. He won't be setting up the stall. When these uncles and aunts found out, their faces changed instantly. Su Yang was helpless and could only run away quickly. After arriving at the market and buying some ingredients, Su Yang even had the urge to try the osmanthus oolong tea he had just drawn last night. However, I found that the materials needed to make this kind of tea are still very complicated. Not only do you need to go to a place that specializes in selling tea, but even things like coffee beans, dried osmanthus, raw milk, animal butter, etc., have to be purchased through specific channels. These things are not sold in the vegetable market. Su Yang frowned slightly. This osmanthus oolong tea was indeed a bit troublesome. But fortunately, the profit of this thing is still high enough. I roughly calculated in my mind that the cost of a cup of osmanthus oolong tea is probably no more than 5 yuan. If you have less conscience, it can be even lower. Of course, this would affect some of the taste, but Su Yang couldn't do such a thing. But if you sell it, it won't be a problem to at least triple or quadruple it. After all, now on the streets, except for Snow King, milk tea from any other brand store must cost more than 10 or 20 yuan, right? Especially the taste is so. Su Yang now sells more and more types of items at his stall, and the time required to make different items is also a big problem. He is not prone to fatigue, but time is still limited. It is impossible to prepare all the dishes and drinks. Therefore, Su Yang is even considering whether to sell on a daily basis in the future. For example, if you sell fried beef noodles today, you may sell chicken tofu pudding tomorrow. This way he can feel more relaxed, and at the same time, guests who want to eat certain delicacies will not be unable to enjoy them. They returned on their electric bike with a full load. At this moment, in the little guy's room, Xiao Feifei and Su Yinhua were still asleep. Su Yang was naturally used to it. After preparing the ingredients, he took what he needed for breakfast and walked into the kitchen. There are still at least 2 hours before going to kindergarten. It can be said that time is very relaxed. Su Yang first boils the mung beans, which can then be stored in the refrigerator for use when setting up the stall in the evening. Unfortunately, the refrigerator is still a little small at the moment. Su Yang looked at the refrigerator bought by the former landlord and frowned. This Hitachi refrigerator has a capacity of 750 liters, which is considered large enough for an average family. But for Su Yang, who needed to set up a stall and stock up on goods, it was a bit stretched. It's totally not enough. Chapter 205. Only need to cook twice a week. Su Yang boiled a large pot of water and then put onions, ginger, garlic, etc. into it. Finally, add the pork. While waiting for the food to cook, Su Yang turned around to marinate the chicken wings and then began to knead the dough. Don't be fooled by the fact that this method of doing 3 or even 4 things at once seems extremely complicated. But for Su Yang, he was already familiar with it. In fact, Su Yang always knows the number of dishes he wants to make in advance. After all, even if he had the ability to do more, the space in the constant temperature fresh-keeping box drawn by the system was really limited. I wanted to put a little more stuff in, but it wasn't possible. Things like royal chicken wings, chicken tofu, and crystal shrimp dumplings must all be kept in a temperature-controlled safe. Only in this way can the taste of these delicacies not be affected in the slightest. Otherwise, even if it's cooked by Su Yang, the taste will be far inferior to freshly made ones. But if it's made fresh, that's a joke. There is fried beef noodles and fried twice-cooked pork. Su Yang even has 2 pots. If you add one more bite, you won't be able to control it perfectly. If the taste is unsatisfactory, it's better not to make it. Su Yang quickly prepared all the delicious food and filled the constant temperature fresh-keeping box to the brim. These things are enough to handle the stall setting up at night. After finishing all these, Su Yang began to prepare breakfast. On the other side, Xiao Feifei and the little one Suino also got up. You're up pretty early. Xiao Feifei was wearing a Mickey Mouse t-shirt, although it was originally worn by Su Yang himself, and men's ones should be one size larger. But the area around Mickey Mouse's eyes is clearly a little tight for someone with Xiao Feifei's figure. I'm used to it, Su Yang said lightly and put the soft-boiled eggs fried in the pan on a plate. The little fellow, Su Yinhua, stuck half of his head out and greedily breathed in the delicious food wafting from the kitchen. It smells so good, Papa. Hurry up and get dressed. We can eat later. Smiling at the little guy, Su Yang's hands did not stop moving at all. Xiao Feifei saw this and felt an inexplicable sweetness and a bit of inexplicable heartache. She didn't feel it before, but now she feels it very clearly. Su Yang works so hard. I have to go to the market early to buy goods and then come back to deal with the ingredients for the stall. After I finish my work, I have to prepare breakfast for the little one myself. Xiao Feifei knew Su Yinua's character very well. Not only do I like to stay in bed, but I often need help getting dressed in the morning. After Su Yang finally took care of the little one, he had to send her to kindergarten. Then it's time to go out for the morning stall. To be honest, being a CEO isn't that tiring. You can even go to work at any time you want. If she wasn't so competitive, she wouldn't even have a problem skipping work for the whole day. Even at work, most of the work is just talking. He is not as strong as Soo Young at all. Think about Soo Young back then. When he was in college, he was still a handsome young man, and so many girls were chasing after him. In the blink of an eye, I became a daughter slave. Xiao Feifei felt like she might have done something wrong. Su Yang naturally had no idea what Xiao Feifei was thinking. He just wondered why her eyes suddenly became so soft and thought she was still asleep. But it wouldn't matter even if Su Yang knew what Xiao Feifei was thinking at the moment. Because he doesn't care at all, and he's not tired at all. Instead, I enjoy it every day. Whether it is taking care of the little guy, Su, Inu, or setting up a stall and cooking delicious food, these are what he likes to do. With his current fame and cooking skills, he doesn't need to work so hard and intensively. In Penguin's food group, there are many big bosses and wealthy women who want to support Su Yang. The conditions offered by the big boss are very generous. You only need to cook twice a week, and they don't require much in quantity. As long as it's made by Boss Su, they like to eat it. As for the rich woman, that's even more outrageous. I do it twice a week, but one time is for cooking, and the other time, Su Yang naturally refused. How can I bow my head and serve the rich and powerful, and make myself unhappy? I will never sell my soul and body in this lifetime. Don't even think about it. Seeing that the little guy was still sleepy, Su Yang was ready to take action directly and hit him on the head to wake him up. However, before Su Yang could move, Xiao Feifei had already bent her slender white fingers and placed them in front of the little guy's forehead. In just a moment, the little guy Su Inua's slender and curled eyelashes trembled violently, and then suddenly opened. She is awake. Mom, stop playing, the baby is awake. Seeing the little guy covering his head with his hands and looking for help, Su Yang couldn't help but laugh. It seems that after a night of getting along, Xiao Feifei has mastered the precise method of dealing with the little guy. You're awake now. Why don't you go wash your face? Xiao Feifei ordered with a cold face. Good. The little guy covered his forehead and ran towards the bathroom like a flash. Only then did Xiao Feifei's originally cold face soften again. She even took a breath. It was really not easy to present herself as a cold mother in front of the little one. Just as she was relaxing, her eyes met with Su Yang in the kitchen. For an instant, the roots of her ears turned slightly red. I'll go keep an eye on the little guy. Xiao Feifei also turned and left in a panic. In a blink of an eye, Su Yang was the only one left in the kitchen. He shrugged his shoulders, smiled faintly, and continued to prepare the morning delicacy. For breakfast today, Su Yang made crystal shrimp dumplings and fried an egg for everyone. What we drink is, of course, pure handmade soy milk. However, as soon as Xiao Feifei sat down, she saw that what was in front of her was not soy milk, but coffee. Xiao Feifei was also slightly stunned. Su Yang has already said, this is a fat-free mocha without cream. You should usually like to drink this in the morning. Don't worry, I've improved it a little bit, so you won't get fat. After hearing Su Yang's words, Xiao Feifei felt a little at a loss again. She stared blankly at the coffee in front of her and couldn't help feeling moved. Unexpectedly, even after divorce, Su Yang still remembered this little hobby of his. I took a sip, and the milky aroma of the coffee filled the air. The sweet aroma of chocolate and the mellow taste of coffee, two delicate tastes, the combination is simply perfect. This, you did it yourself? Su Yang nodded lightly without denying it. I passed by a coffee shop and made myself a cup. Chapter 206. For many things, there is only the first time and the countless times. After breakfast, Xiao Feifei and the little guy, Su Inuo, both volunteered to wash the dishes. It can be seen that after a day of getting along, the relationship between the three has improved a lot. Su Yang originally planned to wash himself, but Su Inuo walked straight up and pushed Su Yang with all his might. Papa, you worked hard making breakfast. Let me and Mama do the dishes. Su Yang was helplessly pushed by the little guy to the sofa to rest. Xiao Feifei took Su Inuo and carried the plates to the kitchen to wash the dishes. Even Xiao Feifei herself didn't expect this. Yesterday, she washed a dish for the first time ever. But how long has it been? In just one night, I actually took the initiative to talk about washing dishes. Sure enough, for many things, there is only the first time and the countless times. Once a precedent is set, there is no way to stop it. Just like many girls who have just started a relationship, they just wanted to give it a try. As a result, things got out of control. The boys also went from being happy to serve at the beginning to reducing the frequency later, and then to let's sleep in separate rooms and fast forward to not even a drop. Mom, You're using too much detergent like this. What a waste. Mom, you have to rinse this grease first. No, no. The water stains on the plate haven't dried yet. You have to put the bowl in upside down like this. In the kitchen, the little guy immediately changed his offensive and turned into a very strict teacher. When Xiao Feifei does housework, she is always criticized by the little guy. At this moment, Xiao Feifei just felt like a waste. Why can't I do anything right? Everything is wrong? However, the only comforting thing is that the little guy Su Inua has really become much more sensible and obedient. When she does housework, she is completely different from her usual naughty self. All this is thanks to Su Yang's teaching. Xiao Feifei couldn't help but glance at Su Yang, who was sitting on the sofa. She thought to herself that if she were the one taking care of the child, No might not be as sensible and obedient as he is now. Even she herself could think of it. Most of the time, it is definitely my grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Chiao and Shan, who take care of me. Judging from the way these two people dote on their children, Su Inua has a good chance of becoming the second self. At 8:15, the three of them had already changed into the bear's parent-child outfits. I have to say, the three of them, after a little dressing up, are simply a beautiful sight. Seeing the three people getting into Xiao Feifei's Porsche, old man Zhang, who was watching from afar, became anxious. If I had known, I shouldn't have told this girl that I could ask Su Yang to make the liver paste soup. She has no morals at all. She has already dealt with that boss Gao, and now she wants to come back to deal with Su Yang. This doesn't give me, an old man, any chance at all. It can be seen that old man Zhang is really a little anxious. He Yongyin on the side remained calm and appeared very composed. You can tell just by looking at the clothes of the three people. Although Xiao Feifei came back, it was only because of the activities in the kindergarten. Even after a night, he could conclude with his years of experience that nothing had happened last night. Su Yang and Xiao Feifei definitely sleep in separate beds. The two of them were just doing it for the little guy's sake. Don't worry, everything is under control. At Rainbow Kindergarten, many cars had already parked in front of the kindergarten. Parents brought their children to participate in parent-child activities. It can be seen that both parents and children are very happy. Look, it's Karen Zhou's parents. I have to say, the parent-child clothes they bought are really nice. I think the big tiger on Zhang Xingxing's clothes is also very beautiful. Yaya, why are your parent-child clothes different from ours? In the kindergarten, many children noticed that Yaya and her chef mother were wearing clothes embroidered with red crown crane patterns. This is long Guofeng. My mother asked a friend to customize it for me. Yaya explained happily. She waited for so long and was finally noticed by other kids. She was so happy. After hearing Yaya's explanation, although the kindergarten children didn't understand, they still opened their eyes wide and showed an expression of "I see." I envy you so much, Yaya. You and your mother are both pretty. By the way, is your mother also the hotel chef? Will she make something delicious for us later? Little Zhang Xingxing is already feeling a little greedy. Last time, he accidentally knocked over the lunchbox in Su Inua's hand, causing Su Yang to rush to the school thinking something big had happened. In the end, we were forced to borrow the kindergarten cafeteria to prepare a hearty lunch for the children. Thinking of this, Zhang Xingxing couldn't help but look around and spoke. Where's Su Inua? Her father should be here today, too. In the distance, a very eye-catching Porsche Panamera was parked in front of the kindergarten. The Porsche is already very eye-catching, especially since it is a shiny red car. Although the kindergarten children don't recognize the brand, they think the car is beautiful just by looking at its appearance. Mom, look, this car is so pretty, much prettier than ours. Whose car is this? Why has our kindergarten never seen one before? I know the new Porsche. It seems to cost more than $1 million. Many parents and students couldn't help but look over here. Many parents even come to pick up their children every day. What kind of car have you not seen in front of the kindergarten? But this brand new pomegranate pattern Porsche is something I've never seen before. In a crowd of cars, it is really conspicuous. What does it look like? For example, it's like the electric three-wheeled food truck that Su Yang rides every day. Come to think of it, why didn't I see that classic electric three-wheeler today? When everyone was slightly confused, the door of the red Porsche slowly opened. Xiao Feifei got down from the driver's seat. Off-white t-shirt and hot shorts. Under the shorts is a pair of straight, slender, snow-white long legs. Just at the moment of taking a step, the oncoming visual impact is so strong that it is impossible to take your eyes off it. Many male parents around couldn't help but swallow their saliva, not to mention the male head of the family. Even the female head of the family was stunned. Xiao Feifei's figure is simply perfect, especially the moment she got out of the Porsche. Her cool and noble temperament set her apart from ordinary people. If I didn't know that there are really no celebrity children in this kindergarten, I'm afraid everyone would think that Xiao Feifei must be a top-tier celebrity from somewhere. Chapter 207. A family of three. Don't be too popular. Wow, whose parent is this? She's so pretty. Not only is she beautiful, her temperament is also invincible. It seems that I got married too early. At the entrance of the kindergarten, students and parents all looked over. Many people's eyes were filled with doubts. Until the little girl Su Inoa jumped out of the car. She was wearing the same parent-child outfit as Xiao Feifei. What? She is Su Inoa's mother? Doesn't that mean that this woman is the one who divorced Su Yang? Before everyone could react, Su Yang also got out of the car. He looks clean, handsome, and sunny, and is currently wearing the parent-child outfit that Xiao Feifei and the little one had carefully selected. It's so charming. When a family of three stands together, it feels like the center of the world. I'm afraid the only one who could steal the limelight from Su Yang's family of three at this time is Team Rocket suddenly jumping out of the comics. Damn, isn't this Su Inoa's dad? What's going on? Why is he dressed so handsomely today? That's right, there's absolutely no way for the rest of us parents to survive. What's so great about being handsome? When I was young, I was definitely no worse than him. A man with a beer belly looked very dissatisfied. It was not like this when he saw Xiao Feifei just now. His eyes almost popped out. Now with the appearance of Su Yang, his wife saw that Su Yang's condition was not much better than before. Naturally, I felt extremely unhappy. In addition to the students, parents, teachers, and security guards at the kindergarten gate, even passersby would curiously look over. If you don't know, you might think that the kindergarten spent a lot of money to hire 3 models today. After asking, I found out that this was a kindergarten activity and the other party was a family of 3. Passersby said they couldn't believe it. Can this be a family of 3? It's clearly a cute kid taking his older brothers and sisters out to play, pretending to be a parent. Yaya, the little girl who had just been enjoying everyone's attention, said she felt very uncomfortable. I haven't even had enough of that feeling of being a star-chasing idol. As a result, with the appearance of Su Ino, the envious eyes of the other children shifted over. Damn it, in kindergarten, she always felt that Su Inua was superior to her in everything. Especially, her divorced father also rushed over. However, as people reach middle age, they inevitably gain weight and even their heads seem to be losing their shape. The bulging belly looks like a big winter melon hidden inside, and coupled with the standard passerby face, it is simply too ordinary. To put it simply, Yaya's father's appearance hardly caused any splash. Although it was a Land Rover compared to Su Yang, it was not even as good as a roadside car. It's so miserable. Seeing that her father's attention was now focused on Su Inua's mother, Yaya was speechless. Dad, where are you looking? The man only reacted when he heard his child's voice. Although he has divorced Yaya's mother, it is indeed not appropriate for him to look at a beautiful woman like this in public. He is very cultured. Ahem. After a light cough, the expression on his face instantly became sanctimonious. She straightened her expensive parent-child outfit and pretended to be nonchalant. Dad just thought that he had seen the other person's mother before, not because she was pretty. Neither Yaya nor her mother believed such words. At the beginning, the two divorced because of the unclear relationship between Yaya's father and a female employee in the company. Until the last moment of the divorce, Yaya's father was still making excuses. Text communication cannot be considered cheating. My dear daughter, aren't you good friends with Su Inua? Do you know what her mother does? In order to ease the awkwardness, Yaya's father found a topic to talk about. Yaya shook her head and said, I didn't ask. In this regard, Yaya's father had no choice but to give up. In the end, he couldn't help but take another look. He felt like he had seen Xiao Feifei somewhere before. But at the end, my eyes couldn't help but linger on the other person's long, straight, white legs. These legs are so perfect. Compared with other women he knew, it was a complete dimensionality reduction attack. Yaya's mother saw this and was already gritting her teeth. If they hadn't been divorced for a year, she would have beaten him like a cucumber today. In order to vent her anger, Yaya's mother simply turned her attention to Su Yang. Such a handsome guy is so much better than Yaya's dad. Especially, even his smile is full of tenderness. Such a man is a good man who truly understands women. Why was I so blind to fall in love with Yaya's dad? By the way, is Su Inua's father also a good cook? Although Su Inua's mother looks very beautiful, her figure is even much better than his. But the two of them have already divorced. Isn't that a coincidence? Yaya and Su Inu are best friends in kindergarten. The two children must also want to live together. At this moment, even Yaya's mother looked at Su Yang with fascination. Yaya looked at her father and then at her mother. The expression on his face is as helpless as it can be. What is going on? How did I end up with such parents? Yaya was also speechless, so she simply ran towards Su Inua. No, is this your mother? She's so beautiful. Originally, Su Inua had been surrounded by a group of kindergarten children and seemed a little annoyed. At this moment, his good friend Yaya came over, and it was like he had grabbed a life-saving straw. She pushed the other children away, pulled Yaya over, and spoke to Xiao Feifei with a smile. Mom, this is my best friend in kindergarten, Tong Liqui, but I like to call her by her nickname Yaya. Xiao Feifei looked down at Tong Liqui with a cold expression, and then she rarely smiled. Hello, classmate Yaya. Hello. Xiao Feifei just gave a faint polite smile, but it was enough to shock the other onlookers. It is so beautiful, especially the smile of this icy beauty, which is even more precious. No wonder ancient kings would even commit such foolish acts as lighting beacons to trick the princes. A man riding a horse in the red dust tries to win a concubine's smile. I used to think that this was just pure idiocy. Now that I've seen it with my own eyes, I finally understand. Worth it. It's so damn worth it. Xiao Feifei held Su Inua's hand and stood there. She just felt a little confused at the moment. What? Is my daughter popular in kindergarten? She couldn't help but look at Su Yang behind her, only to see that there were quite a few mothers of children around Su Yang. They surrounded Su Yang and took the initiative to find topics to talk to him. Xiao Feifei at this moment. Chapter 2. Oh, 8, are you kidding me? How can I cook? This is my mom. She is very busy and has to manage a lot of big hotels, so she doesn't have time to go to the kindergarten. The little boy Su Inua answered the other children's curiosity in a baby voice. After hearing this, all the children looked as if they had suddenly understood what was going on. Okay, kids and parents, we can go into the classroom first. Teacher Zhang Shi and other teachers from the kindergarten came over and asked everyone to go in first. Crowded like this at the school gate, especially Su Yang and Xiao Feifei. Their looks are too exaggerated. The traffic in front of the kindergarten was paralyzed. Even passers-by stopped to look. As everyone walked into the kindergarten, disposable slippers had already been prepared for parents at the classroom door. This has caused a lot of trouble for some parents. Didn't they tell me to take off my shoes when I came? I can take off my shoes, but the question is, do you dare to let me take them off? Fortunately, the kindergarten seems to have experience in dealing with such parents and has prepared shoe covers and other things in advance. Su Yang and Xiao Feifei naturally don't have this worry. The little one even took the initiative to carefully select 2 pairs of very cute slippers and brought them over. After changing into slippers, I walked into the classroom. There were already empty desks, enough for every student and parent in each class to sit down. Su Yang could see that on these tables, there were tools and ingredients placed uniformly. I didn't expect that the first activity in the parent-child activity would be for parents and children to cook delicious food together. Isn't this a proper way to feed the horse? Su Yang himself was a little confused. He even couldn't help but glance at the little guy's class teacher, Ms. Zhang Shi. This is really not specially arranged for myself? Teacher Zhang Qian smiled at Su Yang, seemed to see Su Yang's confusion, and then began to explain. Parents, making delicious food with your children is to let them experience the joy of cooking. Let them enjoy the process. The pace of life is so fast now. We know it's not easy for parents. Many parents don't even have much time to spend with their children. So we hope that through our kindergarten activities, we can give parents and children an opportunity to cook together. So that's what's happening. This kindergarten is really thoughtful. After hearing teacher Zhang Qian's answer, the parents all thought that this activity was quite good. Being able to collaborate with children and promote bonding while cooking delicious food is a very meaningful activity. After no other opinions were raised, each family was divided into small groups. After a heated discussion among the family of 3, the food prepared by each group was naturally different. Fortunately, the kindergarten prepared a rich variety of ingredients. Even if there is nothing on the table, you can ask the kindergarten teacher for it on the spot. After all, their cafeteria's kitchen also has a lot of ingredients stored. Young looked around and saw some were baking cakes, some were making cookies, and some parents really didn't seem to cook at all. They could only make some fried rice with eggs. Pairs of parents and children began to get busy, especially those who would steal glances at other groups from time to time. Obviously, although the kindergarten teachers think this is a friendly competition, the focus is to cultivate a tacit understanding between themselves and the children when cooking delicious food. But for many parents, everything in life is a competition. As long as it's competition, we can't lose. Fortunately, teacher Zhang Xian seemed to have anticipated this situation and announced the new rules on the stage. Parents and children, please pay attention. This is a parent-child activity, which means that parents and children must complete it together. Every family member must participate, and the children must also actively contribute. We will supervise on site, and parents and children are requested to work hard to make the most delicious food. Of course, after each group's dishes are finished, we will give them to other groups to taste and score each other. The family group with the highest score will also receive a beautiful gift from our kindergarten. After the new rules were introduced, these parents and children became more active. Originally, everyone didn't want to lose, and when they heard there were prizes, they couldn't lose even more. However, the only difficulty is that most parents are relatively young, and many are even born in the 1990s. When I was a child, I grew up eating meals cooked by my parents. As I grew older, I basically ate takeout because of work. I only cook occasionally, and if I really need to improve the food, I go to a hotel or simply go back to my in-laws' house. Simply put, when decorating a new house, it is impossible to buy bad kitchenware. He declared that he would use the most exquisite and high-end kitchen utensils to make the most delicious food for his family. However, soon, the range hood that costs tens of thousands of dollars produces less fumes than the dust that accumulates on it in a year. Except for the refrigerator, the other appliances in the kitchen are used as often as the number of times you sleep in the same bed after getting married, which is pitifully infrequent. Of course, there are also a small number of parents who are quite powerful. After cooking at home for more than 10 years, I finally have the opportunity to show off my skills. I am full of confidence now. In particular, when he saw the family nearby struggling to make fried rice, he looked like he was confident of winning. Among them, the most professional is of course Yaya's mother. As a hotel chef, even the way he heats up the pan and adds oil is different from others. Seeing that the other children had taken action, the little boy Su Inua finally spoke anxiously. "Papa, Mama, what are we doing?" Xiao Feifei naturally had no idea. "Cooking? Are you kidding me? How can I cook?" Even when doing other things, it was always Su Yang who took the initiative. Xiao Feifei couldn't help but look at Su Yang for help. Su Yang, on the other hand, was looking at the ingredients on the table with a smile on his face. He already had an idea. "Let's make twice-cooked pork." Su Yang patted the pork on the table as he spoke. The pork is very fresh and of very good quality. It's quite suitable. With Su Yang in charge of the general direction, the little guy and Xiao Feifei naturally nodded in agreement. "Shall we make twice-cooked pork?" Papa's twice-cooked pork is super delicious. Su Inua couldn't help but drooling. Just thinking about it made him so greedy. Xiao Feifei stood aside, raised her white and tender fingers, gently tapped the little guy's head, and spoke in a doting tone. "Little greedy devil." Su Inua covered his head and smiled foolishly, thinking secretly in his heart, "What's wrong with you, glutton? The twice-cooked pork made by Papa is indeed delicious." Chapter 209, where there is a sleeping dragon, there must be a phoenix chick. It seemed that Su Yang and his family of 3 had already decided what kind of delicious food to cook. Many parents looked toward Su Yang. After all, Su Yang's cooking skills have become a hot topic on Douyin. Who in the kindergarten doesn't know that Su Yang sells fried beef noodles, crystal cakes, chicken tofu pudding? Almost every dish they make is absolutely delicious. It's so delicious that some people wait an hour or two in advance at the place where Su Yang often sets up his stall. Comparing cooking skills with Su Yang? Is there any need to compete? Teacher Zhang, Su Inua's father is such a good cook. How can we compete? That's right, to be honest, Su Inua's dad is a bit of a supermodel. I heard that the food that Boss Su cooks is even better than that cooked by chefs at 5-star hotels. If we compare like this, isn't it a bit unfair? The national team is bullying the kids. Kujie is here in the park to bully an old man. He has talent, but no morals. Many parents said that Su Yang should not be allowed to participate, otherwise others would not be able to continue. There is no need to compare at all. Anyone with a discerning eye knows the result. Although Yaya's mother is also a chef, she is not very convinced by what these parents say. This time, she wants to cook her own specialty, even though the kindergarten doesn't have many professional things. But I can still complete 80% of it. With her cooking skills, she is definitely not worse than Su Yang. However, seeing that the kindergarten parents were on the same side, she didn't know how to speak. What if she talks too much and ends up having her qualifications revoked? Yaya's mother couldn't help but glance at Yaya's father, who was clumsily standing beside her with a big belly, and felt a little desperate. If I'm also banned, can I rely on him? I guess he can't even make fried rice with egg. Nono's father, we are not targeting you. It's just that your cooking skills are too famous. How about this? Let Nono's mother do it. You can give instructions from the side. Xiao Feifei. When everyone saw that Xiao Feifei looked reluctant but didn't know how to say it, they thought it was a good idea. Just looking at the way Nono's mother is dressed, you can tell that she has definitely never been in the kitchen. Even with Su Yang teaching me, can I make anything delicious? Without the competition from Boss Su, wouldn't I still win for sure? Xiao Feifei's heart tightened. Cooking? I really can't do it. I'm fine with washing dishes, but I have no experience in cooking. I can't even use a rice cooker to cook rice. The only kitchen utensil I know how to use is opening the refrigerator. It's okay, Nono's mom. If you don't know how to do it, you can learn slowly. We don't know how to do it either. Xiao Feifei wanted to say something, but was blocked by other parents. Look at how many of them are cutting vegetables skillfully and with exquisite knife skills. This is also called not knowing how to ride a horse. In fact, Xiao Feifei didn't care. She doesn't care about the prizes in this kind of competition. The only reason for hesitation was that I was worried that the little guy Nono would be disappointed. After all, when the little guy learned that the first parent-child activity was to cook delicious food, he couldn't wait. She was full of confidence, thinking about what the prize was with a sense of certainty. Now, do it yourself? Isn't that a sure way to get yourself killed? I really can't. Xiao Feifei was silent for a while, then slowly spoke. Teacher Zhang, she smiled and said, "It's okay. This is just a parent-child entertainment, and Nuonyuo's mother can take this opportunity to try cooking herself." Su Yang, Xiao Feifei, Su Yinyo. Su Yang's family of three reached a rare consensus. Isn't this a trap? But there is no other way. Since we are participating in activities in kindergarten, we can only abide by the rules. Mom Nuonyuo, keep going. Teacher Zhang, she encouraged Xiao Feifei with a smile. It's over, it's over. Now we can't eat the twice-cooked pork made by Papa. The little guy Su Yinyo had a look of despair on his face. From heaven to hell, it often only takes a moment. Xiao Feifei originally planned to give up, but after hearing the little one's words, as well as the other parents' long sighs of relief and their attitude of not taking her cooking skills seriously at all, her unyielding character was instantly activated. Su Yang, come and teach me how to make twice-cooked pork. Xiao Feifei said seriously in a commanding tone. Ah! Su Yang was also slightly stunned and couldn't help but say in his heart, "Are you serious?" Su Yang looked at Xiao Feifei. Xiao Feifei's eyes were extremely determined. Seeing this, Su Yang had no choice but to cooperate with her. Su Yinhua swallowed and said carefully, "Mom, do I need to prepare some antidote?" Xiao Feifei glanced at Su Yinhua with a fierce look, and the latter immediately covered his mouth and dared not speak anymore. "You say I do it!" Xiao Feifei ordered Su Yang again. Seeing this, Su Yang had no choice but to walk over and help Xiao Feifei tie her apron first. At least no matter whether the delicious food can be made or not, don't get your clothes dirty, because there will be other activities in the kindergarten later. Well, the first step is to turn on the fire and burn the skin on the surface of the pork belly. Following Su Yang's order, Xiao Feifei nodded coldly. No big deal. Then, 15 seconds passed, and Xiao Feifei continued to speak coldly. How do I start the fire? Su Yang was helpless, and even the little guy Su Yinhua fell into despair. Her eyes couldn't help but look towards her good friend Yaya and her chef mother not far away. The cooperation between the two could be said to be quite smooth. How about I go and help Yaya? The little guy already had the idea of rebellion in his mind at this moment. Mom Xiao Feifei is simply outrageous. There is absolutely no hope of winning. Just when the little guy was completely in despair, he heard the words of teacher Zhang Shi. "Hey, parent, to make boiled fish, you have to kill the fish first." "Shark? I made it with grass carp." Zhang Xingxing's father. "What I mean is that if you fill the pot with water and put the live fish in, the fish won't be drowned." "Is that so, teacher?" Why didn't you say so earlier? I'm hungry. How about Zhang Xingxing's dad? Can you consider making other dishes? For example, egg fried rice would be good. Teacher Zhang, you are right. After taking a look at Zhang Xingxing's family behind him, Su Inua, who was originally in despair, regained his confidence. Even Su Yang's brain almost crashed just now. My goodness, boiling a live fish in warm water. Is this giving fish a bath or a sauna? I thought Xiao Feifei was outrageous enough, but I didn't expect there would be something even more outrageous. It is true that where there is a sleeping dragon, there must be a phoenix chick. It's hard to imagine how little Zhang Xingxing managed to survive and grow up to this age. I think it must be very difficult. Chapter 210, Can You Burn? Su Yang had just taught Xiao Feifei how to fire. The little guy has started washing vegetables quite skillfully. Remove the stems of the green peppers, and then remove the seeds. For garlic sprouts, remove the roots and discard the yellow and dry parts. It can be said that the little guy looks much more reliable than Xiao Feifei. By the time Su Inua had washed almost half of the vegetables, Xiao Feifei had finally blanched the pork belly. How do I get this meat out? Xiao Feifei asked another spiritual question. It can be said that if she were to be a president, she could still do it with ease. But if she were to be a cook, she would be completely incapable of it. A large piece of pork belly, it looks like it weighs more than 1.2 gene. Xiao Feifei had been trying to pry it out with a spatula for a long time, but it was of no use at all. In desperation, he had to coldly ask Su Yang for help. Just use chopsticks, Su Yang said calmly. He had been mentally prepared. Chopsticks. Xiao Feifei was smart after all and understood it instantly. She simply poked the chopsticks directly into the cooked meat and easily picked out a whole piece of pork belly. There's no ice here, so let's run it through with cold water first. Su Yang instructed the next step. Cold water? Why do we need to rinse it with cold water? Aren't we supposed to cook the pork belly? How can we eat it if it's cold? Faced with Xiao Feifei's idiotic remarks, Su Yang still patiently explained. The purpose of cooling the pork belly is to increase its toughness and crispness so that it tastes better. And how are you going to slice it if it's too hot? Xiao Feifei understood, but maybe she didn't know much about how toughness and crispness affect the taste. But she really understood the last sentence. It's too hot. How to cut it into slices. Because when she fished it out of the pot just now, she saw that the spatula didn't work, so she was ready to try using her hands directly. Of course, before she even touched the pork belly, Xiao Feifei chose to give up in time. Papa, I've already washed it. The little guy Su Inua brought up the washed garlic sprouts and green peppers. She puffed out her chest, raised her little face, and looked at Su Yang and Xiao Feifei expectantly, waiting for their praise. But at the moment, Xiao Feifei was very busy and had no time to do anything else. The whole brain is in a state of overload. To be honest, Su Yang was also starting to have a slight headache. Who on earth came up with the idea that you can't cook and can only teach? This is too torturous. With this skill, I can cook more than a dozen dishes. Fortunately, there is harm only when there is comparison. Behind Su Yang and his family of 3, the little boy Zhang Xingxing walked up cautiously. Su Inua, do you want to use your potatoes? If you don't want them, can you give them to our family? Su Inua was very generous and directly gave the potatoes on the table to Zhang Xingxing. Here, we don't need potatoes in our cooking. Thank you, Su Inua, you are so nice. We will always be best friends. Zhang Xingxing smiled instantly, but there was still a hint of worry between his brows. Su Inua asked curiously, by the way, where are the potatoes in your house? What dish do you need so many potatoes for? Zhang Xingxing sighed, looked helplessly at his home behind him, and said, my mother just said that it was her turn to make the spicy and sour potato shreds. Do you know what happened? The potato shreds are much thicker than my fingers and more sour than sour lemons. No one in our family can eat a second bite. Little Zhang Xingxing only has the face of a 3-year-old, but at this moment, he looks like he is 30 years old. The little guy, Su Inua, walked up to him, patted his young shoulder, and signaled with his eyes that he understood him. It's okay, my mom does the same. After Zhang Xingxing left with the potatoes, Su Yang and his family of 3 continued to cook delicious food. The smell of various dishes wafted constantly from the kindergarten classroom. They are cooking, baking, stewing, etc. It can be said to be quite complicated, because among these flavors, there are only a few that are truly fragrant. Most of the smells are burnt, scorched, and even outrageous stinky. Teacher Zhang, she couldn't help but said in his heart. Luckily, I had expected this. It was to make the parents eat each other. If I were to taste this, I would probably have to be rushed to the hospital to have my stomach pumped. Following Su Yang's instructions, Xiao Feifei finally started to behave properly. She cut the garlic sprouts into sections and the green pepper slices into diamond shapes. I have to say that Xiao Feifei does have some talent for knife skills. It was like she was peeling an apple for the little one, making sure the skin remained intact in one go. It can be said that her hands are still quite steady. This is very important for a chef. However, even so, the satisfaction with Xiao Feifei was limited to cutting those easy-to-cut vegetarian dishes. When it was her turn to cut the meat, Xiao Feifei initially disliked the smell of the meat and couldn't put her hands down for a long time. After the ideological work was done, she couldn't cut the meat anymore. You're holding the knife in the wrong position. You can't exert force this way. You should hold the meat with one hand, like this. Su Yang stood by and gave patient instructions. If it were someone else, he would have run away long ago. However, Su Yang does have some experience in teaching Xiao Feifei, especially in terms of posture. When the two of them were studying it, it was mostly Su Yang who led Xiao Feifei. Seeing that Xiao Feifei still hadn't figured it out after a long time, Su Yang had no choice but to get started. He spread out Xiao Feifei's white and slender fingers, and then clamped the blade between his index finger and thumb. Just hold it tight like that. Huh. Xiao Feifei felt something was wrong. I mean, if you hold it like this, you can hold the knife more steadily. Su Yang explained without blushing. Oh. Su Yang held Xiao Feifei's palm with his own hand and taught her step by step, explaining as he taught. Except for the first joint of your middle finger, try not to let the rest of your palm touch the blade. Also, be careful when cutting and actively move your fingers back. Otherwise, you might cut your fingers. It can be said that Su Yang teaches very carefully. Xiao Feifei nodded, and her originally fair cheeks began to turn slightly red, making her look instantly more beautiful. Su Yang was slightly stunned, feeling strange. Why did Xiao Feifei get hot before the cooking even started? What if she really needs to bake this thing later? Can you burn it? Su Yang asked. Yes, no problem for me, Xiao Feifei said with a firm attitude. Chapter 211. Chew it before you talk. Don't just swallow it. Xiao Feifei moved the hair beside her ears and started her second attempt at cutting the meat. Although Su Yang was still not satisfied this time, it was still a huge improvement. It's okay, but the gestures are not good enough. Look at how the meat is cut. Some are thin and some are thick. Facing Su Yang's questioning, Xiao Feifei took a look and said, "It's true." This time, she took the initiative to stretch out her fair hand towards Su Yang, and the latter did not hesitate and covered it with his hand again. Su Yang held Xiao Feifei's fingers, smoothed them carefully, then bent them one by one and stuck them on the pork belly with very standard movements. You see, that's it. The blade and the chopping board should always be at a 90-degree vertical angle. Under Su Yang's guidance, Xiao Feifei cut off a piece of meat. It was neither fat nor thin, just about 2 millimeters. Xiao Feifei was a little surprised. No, is Su Yang's hand a ruler? How can he measure so accurately just by eyeballing it? But she was so strong that she decided to try again on her own. I'll try cutting it myself. Su Yang nodded and let go of his hand. I saw that Xiao Feifei's hand gestures now looked too standard. If an unfamiliar person saw her, he would really think Xiao Feifei was a veteran chef. As Xiao Feifei quickly cut a piece of pork belly, although it was not as standard as Su Yang's, it was about 4 millimeters thick. The most important thing is that the cut meat is finally of even thickness. Good. There's a lot of room for improvement. Su Yang said. Xiao Feifei snorted coldly. What do you mean there's a lot of room for improvement? If you want to praise, can't you just praise directly? Are you trying to be high EQ there? High emotional intelligence. A lot of room for improvement. Low emotional intelligence. Just getting started. Even so, Xiao Feifei appeared indifferent on the surface, but she still felt a little secretly happy in her heart. Isn't it just cooking? Is there anything Xiao Feifei, can't learn? Definitely not worse than you, Su Yang. Not bad, but Su Yang glanced around and saw that other parents had already started cooking. I haven't even finished cutting the vegetables yet. Although Xiao Feifei has made progress, by the time she finishes cutting the meat, there will probably not be enough time to cook it. I'll help you cut it. We have to make up for the time. Su Yang spoke to Xiao Feifei. Xiao Feifei nodded and did not reject the suggestion. Now that I have decided to participate in this competition well, the goal is naturally to win. After the two sides reached a consensus, Su Yang walked behind Xiao Feifei. His head was almost touching Xiao Feifei's left cheek, and he reached around and held Xiao Feifei's hands. There is no other way. According to the rules, Su Yang cannot cut the vegetables directly. He can only use this method. The little guy Su Inua on the side kept blinking his eyes, somewhat unable to believe what he was seeing. No, are Papa and Mama really cutting vegetables? Why does it feel weird? The little guy seriously suspected that the two of them had secretly reunited. Otherwise, why would they do this in public? The combination of Su Yang and Xiao Feifei quickly attracted the attention of other parents. Some of the older parents were blushing. Su Inua's parents are really something, showing their affection in public. Foul. This is a serious foul. Many parents think this is unreasonable. Everyone agreed to come here to cook. So why are Su Yang and Xiao Feifei's styles different from others? The man is talented and the woman is beautiful, and they are in such an ambiguous posture. Are you really not here to film a TV series? What do you mean by a domineering president falling in love with me? Those who know that she is cooking. Those who don't will definitely think she is filming a domineering boss drama. Everyone hasn't even had their meal yet, but they've already been forced to eat a huge amount of dog food. This is simply outrageous. Teacher Zhang Qian also stood there in a daze, looking at Su Yang and Xiao Feifei, who were working closely together in perfect harmony. To be honest, she even felt a little jealous in her heart. What if it was me who was standing next to Su Yang? In an instant, my ears turned red. Unfortunately, judging from the current progress, Su Yang and Xiao Feifei might really get back together. Never do that kind of thing. While teacher Zhang Qian was hesitating, many parents turned their questioning eyes to her. Only then did she react. Oh, Su Inua's father. You can't do this. You can only play a supporting role. Why did you take the lead? Yes, there are so many children here. This is cheating. Faced with teacher Zhang Qian's obstruction and many parents' opinions, Su Yang had no choice but to let go. Fortunately, although it was only a short time, I was able to make up for a lot of the wasted time with my superb knife skills. However, when Su Yang glanced at Xiao Feifei, her originally cold face already showed a slight blush. No, we just agreed to cook. Anyway, I didn't think about anything. Is Xiao Feifei thinking too much? Su Yang was a little puzzled. Just cook. Why are you blushing? See, I was misunderstood by others. You are a mother now? Can't you be more stable? Although I was indeed standing behind him, I really didn't launch an attack. It should be okay for you to cut the rest of the meat yourself, right? Su Yang took a step back and stepped aside. Can. Xiao Feifei nodded in a cold voice. As she focused her attention back on cutting the meat, the blush on her face slowly disappeared. After getting rid of all the distracting thoughts in her mind, the way she cut the meat was completely different. Su Yang couldn't help but secretly sigh that Xiao Feifei was really teachable. Just a little training just now. No, it was teaching, and you can make such great progress. It seems that she has considerable potential if she does what she loves. The little guy, Su Inu, also slowly regained some confidence. Oh, it's not because Mom Xiao Feifei finally conquered her, but because there are worse ones in other groups. There is no need to talk about Zhang Xingxing's family. The scrambled eggs can be turned into fried eggs, and even half a bag of salt can be poured directly into the pot. What kind of steak is there without even opening the packaging? Compared to them, Xiao Feifei is simply too normal, except that you need to be taught how to fire. There isn't much of a problem with it. The whole kindergarten seems to be a big stage, the kind you come here if you were sick. At this moment, Yaya's mother was making very rapid progress. Although there is some distance between us, the aroma of the food has already spread. Su Inua raised his delicate nose and sniffed it, and couldn't help swallowing his saliva. It smells so good, it's spicy chicken. Su Inua's eyes lit up. She quite liked this dish. The spicy flavor of Sichuan peppercorns and authentic chili peppers has spread, mixed with the aroma of fresh and tender chicken. Su Yang also smelled it and had to say, this Sichuan dish made by Yaya's mother was very authentic. I didn't expect that she would prepare ingredients such as Sichuan peppercorns in advance. It seems that she came prepared. On the other hand, Su Yang not only couldn't do it himself, but also didn't prepare the ingredients in advance. Now, Xiao Feifei has finally completed stir-frying under her step-by-step instruction. As time passed, finally, Xiao Feifei's twice-cooked pork was out of the oven. The little guy Su Inua couldn't wait either. He took Su Yang's phone and kept taking pictures. Although the little guy expressed disgust, it was his mother Xiao Feifei's first attempt at cooking after all. we still have to give the face that is due. Mom, the twice-cooked pork you made is so fragrant and beautiful. Su-young heard it, but remained silent. With his excellent sense of smell, he had already smelled it. The twice-cooked pork made by Xiao Feifei can't be said to be extremely unpalatable, but it is definitely quite unpalatable. It can be said that it is even a bit hard to swallow. Of course, this cannot be blamed on Xiao Feifei, because it was indeed her first time cooking. Secondly, the food ingredients prepared by the kindergarten are quite simple. Even for safety reasons, the fire in the stove was not very strong. Xiao Feifei had never known how to control the heat, and under such conditions, she was completely confused. To be honest, all of this was within Su Yang's expectations. But at the beginning, when Su Yang saw Xiao Feifei's serious and fearless expression, he really thought a miracle would happen. Now it seems that I was thinking too much. However, the good thing is that the other groups are not doing very well. Under Xiao Feifei's cold and expectant gaze, the little guy tentatively picked up a piece of twice-cooked pork, then hesitated for a moment before putting it in his mouth. Who said that the twice-cooked pork made by Mom is bad? This twice-cooked pork is amazing. Faced with the little guy's exaggerated acting skills, Su Yang spoke indifferently without mercy. Chew it first before you talk. Don't just swallow it.